All right, chat. Before we swing over to the main scene, if you are watching this on YouTube, don't turn off right now. Don't skip ahead just yet. Just something to tell you, this is the kind of last portion of this campaign. This campaign will be going for another probably 8 or 9 episodes, probably. But we'll see where it goes in those courses. It could go a little bit over, could be a little bit under that. But this is the last section of this campaign as they pursue the final question. After this campaign, we'll be opening up to many more smaller Odyssey campaigns set in the same world, focusing around the same issues set right after Mistletoe. So this is why things will be ramping up. But with all of that said, let me go ahead and turn off the chat room. And I'll unmute on Discord. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Well.
Hi. How we doing?
Well.
Look who it is.
I know. And it feels like we haven't played in like way longer than just 2 weeks. It's weird.
Yeah.
Who are you people?
Well, also,
Yeah, I know, right?
It's been gone.
Huh?
It's been a really long time without Gabe.
I know. Like genuinely.
I forgot what he looked like. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I didn't forget what he looked like. You
Look, you two are tits, right?
that's right.
Mark and OG are absolute tits.
What are you talking about?
How you guys been? You been good? You been good? What have you been doing for the past 2
Great.
weeks?
Oh, I get it now. I see. I understand.
Oh man, every time someone slips up.
I know. So welcome out, everyone. It's episode 41. How are we doing? We doing good? We're restarting it here. We are restarting it here.
Gonna cut that from,
Should we just get into
post.
D&D? Should we dive into D&D? Let's dive into D&D.
Let's go.
I'm excited.
I can't wait.
Okay.
It's gonna be
I didn't post
amazing.
the recap.
No,
Because you forgot what happened.
because you're going to read it.
too.
Because you've been reading it every single time, and that's how I would like it to continue.
Yeah, actually, it has
to
been
be
a really
honest.
long trend of that. So now it's like,
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Well,
new
I
law.
mean,
I read the
This
recap
should
in my
count.
show every week.
oh,
I don't put that
I'm
burden on
sorry.
hey, look, that's your
Repeat that,
mistake,
what?
man. you gotta feed this out to the others. I think OG, you should do it. You should improv the recap.
Oh,
Okay,
even
so here's the
worse.
thing. It was a huge fight. We had to go to Balder.
Oh,
Do you
no.
know our friend got taken by this bird that I didn't even see, which is kind of a waste. Anyway, so we took Balder to Frey, and he was like, "Oh, Frey, why don't you come with me? We're gonna do some fun stuff." And they left.
Okay, do you know
And
what?
then we tried to sneak in.
Do you know what?
You picked
No,
the
no.
You picked the
Yeah.
wrong person.
There's some
Weaponized
poor
incompetence.
Yep,
YouTube
absolutely.
viewer right
Every
now.
time.
very fun.
There's this
topic
poor
that they
YouTube
Every
viewer right now who is looking at
time.
the screen going, I have no idea what's going on, and is so thrown off. So I'll start. I mean, you've proved your point. Okay, we'll go
That
from the
YouTube
recap.
viewer needs to go back and rewatch the whole thing like
man.
a real
Hey,
fan.
YouTube viewer.
Look, man,
go
the
watch
Zoomers
last
of this
episode.
generation, they will watch 3 minutes. Okay, so
It's true. It's true.
last we left off, you had all been pursuing Frey, or at least whatever he was holding, the god, Bia, or Bia, whichever you prefer, pronounced differently from Mesogaia to Midgard. He was trying to extract information from this god. The Valkyrie Mist said she would help free Draven's soul and the other souls that were trapped from after the event. If only you aided. You worded your words carefully and made sure that you could free the god and not just kill it. You made your way over towards into Alfheim, where you met with Balder. Balder then served as a guide to get you there, distracting Frey himself. He convinced Frey that his sister was in danger, and the two of them rushed off after letting you into the grove. There you encountered a series of Frey's followers sat around a campfire, They didn't notice you. So you pass them by the side, sneaking around towards where his two right-hand soldiers were basically holding and defending the entrance into the secret, into where he was holding the god. After confirming the god was in there, you fought your way against them. You freed Beer and found that she was attached to this headless body. Lena drove her dagger into the body, as asked you by Beer, only to find out it was Mimir's headless body. Though, to what purpose Frey was using it, we don't know. Alongside this, you collectively destroyed Frey's other companions, who didn't even see you in the campsite at all, as you made quick work of them. Okay, collectively might be a reach. There might have been some immense fire from a particular.
Collectively. God.
Listen, hoping he's nerfic. Sometimes stuff's gonna go wrong. Sometimes you're gonna think someone's a lot stronger than they are, and then
sometimes you're gonna incinerate a grandma. Sometimes that's gonna happen.
You managed though to free the god and rush down a secret tunnel leading down through the roots into Yggdrasil. There you made an agreement with her. She'd come with you, deal with the situation with Mist, and then she would transport you to the Greys, as she is from Mesogaya, as are the Greys. You just found yourself pushing down into the depths of the World Tree's roots. You're in now one of the secret tunnels that leads back towards where you want to go. As you're kind of passing through the tunnel, Bea kind of turns towards all of you, folds her arm. Now that we're safer, who did you say sent you? Or did you come on your own
Actually
accord?
wasn't there for that conversation, so Lena will just look at the group.
Well, the one who sent us to get you was the Valkyrie Mist. But the terms of our deal were simply that we remove you from where you were. You aren't in any danger, and we don't need to take you to them. You are free to go off on your own now.
Very well.
They pointed us in the direction we chose to help you.
Yes.
But you need transportation.
Well, not to Mist, but if you can take us to the Grey Sisters,
Grey
that would
Sisters.
save us a lot of trouble.
I understand, mortal. Very well. I've agreed to your terms. You aided me, I shall aid you. Do you wish to go now?
There's something we have to do first.
Then,
It won't take long.
very well. Lead the way. This is a deeper trap. I'll make sure to kill all of you first, before whatever god grabs me.
You got it. We'll keep leading the way.
Sounds great.
She just follows it.
Given that the last time that she followed like a bunch of mortals, she got grabbed by Frey and nearly drained of whatever was going on. I can't blame her for being a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
So, are you just going to lead your way through the roots of Yggdrasil? Where would you like to end up?
I think we had established last time that we were going to aim for wasn't it a spot? It was a spot near Burka.
It was basically it was as close to mist as we can get because I think we're on sort of like the third day that she said she would wait.
Yeah,
so
we wanted to get as close as we could. We didn't want to do anything that was going to put us in like a wildly dangerous spot.
Okay. Yeah, you can come out
Travel-wise.
fairly close to the Burka. It's easier once you're underneath as well. It's easier to find the destination than it is to find an entrance to the routes because you can kind of almost map yourself underneath, and you could almost force yourself through the ground of certain softened areas and create your own entrances that way. Yeah, you can pass on through and come out fairly close to where you were. Probably a good couple-hour march away from where you left Mist. It would take you a little while traveling through the routes. It's not comfortable terrain to walk on, but you eventually would get there. This entrance is mostly caved in. You can see where kind of dirt is now piled on top. It's almost softened and slightly hardened, but like softer soil than you'd expect. It's not full of rocks. It's kind of caved in over where the roots have split open. And there's a bit of soil pouring through onto the roots on the inside. Be a few foot dig to get out.
I mean, Juno can start sort of like scrabbling.
Let us use the Minecraft gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never used them once. God, we really need to get some use out of those.
Could have really used those when we were trying to get the Godfrey.
The amount of times those should come up and be the most useful item we've ever had is high. Like it's
maybe let's
Hey,
establish
gloves
right
will
now
fit
who
on
has
my
them.
other gloves.
Yeah.
And I put these on top.
On top, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Willoughby
Yeah.
had. I think that's why I wouldn't have been using them because I feel like it was Draven that had them. But
I don't even understand how they
Lost
work,
the
so I
time.
did not have them.
otherwise, we just never figured it out. Yeah, I don't care. I'll take
we
them
put
unless
the
someone else
gloves
wants to
on?
take them. It's not like a.
Golden.
I think
gloves.
out of all of us, Tomato, you're going to be the one who makes the cleverest plays with them, so I'm quite happy for you to have them. You'll find some crazy way of destroying Joe's campaign with these things, which I am a big fan of.
Absolutely.
And wear the gloves of cubecraft from now on.
Joe's just making a
Nice
face.
on you.
Just waiting for you to break everything I've built. Yeah, you can use those that and just like kind of create these kind of perfect cubes of soil and pull them out of the corner where it's pouring in. It's compact enough that you can actually pull these out without it all just collapsing, especially at first. Bea doesn't lift a hand. She stands at the back and just kind of folds her arms.
Not the god of lifting.
What are you all anyway?
What?
Are we
Well, are you
People?
agents of someone?
mortals ourselves?
Oh,
No.
clearly mortals.
That was
Well,
a joke. We're
Are you
not good at that.
mercenaries? Are you? What are you? Why would you do these things?
We
I
had
think-
an agreement for Miss to help us with something to help a friend.
It is a bit of a
It's
longer
just
story than I
simpler
think
for
you
all
want
of us
to
if
like
we don't get
know.
really
Yeah.
into the details. You know what I mean?
Understandable.
It's not anything that hurts anybody. It's just to literally save a friend who's stuck.
Most noble deeds are done through selfish goals.
Most. Not all.
Never said it was noble, just not bad.
Saving a god, you should feel that it was noble, that it was grand.
Bay is the goddess of power, right? Like that was, yeah, okay.
It is, noble in the sense of you were trapped and we could have just stabbed you instead. So.
Yeah, those were our options: were kill you or save you. So we figured.
True. You saw a god at the most vulnerable state. You could have ended me. Could have. But instead you chose the better of the two options, and now you get to reap the rewards. Do you wish me to sing your
No.
praises to the other gods of Olympus?
No, is that a
No,
thing you do?
no, I think we're mostly good.
Yeah.
Thank you, though.
I think we're okay with that. Is that like, do you do that? Do you like go back and sing? Well, I don't.
You don't wish for power from this?
Not
We're not-
really.
No, not really.
I think, yeah, Juno might look at like Lena and Eldred a bit more because you guys have accepted boons from gods before, so I think like Juno would be like, oh, okay,
But
surprised.
she's watching. She knows.
It's different. It's different if they're right here.
It is a thing, you know,
Like the
like
chase.
you. I don't know. We helped you. You're going to help us with the Grey Sisters, and then, right? What are you going to do? Just like help us for the rest of our lives, like all the time we need you? Like that's not fair, is it?
Most mortals
I
would
imag-
ask such.
I think it's more that I think that the offer to help us reach the Grey Sisters is perhaps in addition to mentioning your deed to the other gods of Olympus. It's similar to
Like
the
no
gods here
offense,
sharing stories.
but like I don't really know any of the gods over there, and like they could stay there. I don't really need to make new friends, you know? Like it is okay.
Understandable.
Can they do stuff here? I don't know. Like, can they?
Perhaps
It
when they
seems-
conquer the land, yes.
Like, that seems like a lot of effort, and I don't want to bank on that. So,
Well,
Joe, do I happen to have any idea of, like, I've never heard of Bea before, right? So I don't know what her relationship with the Kate.
probably not. Roll a religion check though, just in case.
Okay. Dirty
Dice
20.
rolls.
Dirty
30,
20.
20. Yeah, I think her name would have come up in passing at least. She's one of the lesser gods. There's a series of gods that don't live on the highest peaks of Olympus. They still live around Olympus, but on the lower ends. Hecate is one of those ones who's welcome across all, and often travels across all. A lot of the Olympians stay up where they are. She would have probably ran into Bea a few times, but probably not in a as much so as a lord passes by one of their servants. It's a case of Bea is much lower on the spectrum than Hecate.
what are you the god of? Like,
Power.
what's your deal? What's your thing? Power. That's a pretty
That
good
sounds
one.
pretty intense.
It is unique.
And you're not like you're the god of power, but you're not like in charge. Like you don't have the most. Like, how does that happen?
Right. Yeah, I would think that would make you, like, the most powerful of all the gods.
It is not as easy as that. Just because Hephaestus is the god of the forge, and he can create great things with that. But there are blacksmiths known throughout the world which have created equal to him.
Really?
Some here have taken our eye. Some dwarves. I represent power in its ability to be achieved. It's coerced power. The desire for it. I am embodiment of power, but not much more. Whereas gods such as Zeus, our king, he is both powerful without needing to be an aspect of it. Often our names aren't as literal as, or our titles aren't as literal.
Power can be an ephemeral thing.
A better way to put it. I serve to help lords achieve power, or people achieve power. I
Does
can
it
help.
bug you?
Does what bug me?
Well, like if you're the embodiment of trying to like seek power, get more power, does it piss you off that like you have to help total chumps get more power?
You see the ground cover side, and you're able to kind of climb out. Continue the conversation as you walk. She walks with you for a while. She folds her hands behind her back. No. mortals are a farmer cares for their cattle, even if they do not put them as a peer. This is how I see my job, my aspect. I help, aid those and guide those who wish to seek more for themselves, wish to see ambition realized. And because I was created as such and born as such, therefore I find enjoyment in it.
That's good.
Which is why all of you annoy me.
Because we do not
Sorry.
seek power.
Which is a very rare trait. I have seen the greatest of kings and the poorest of beggars who wish for a little bit more power. Perhaps just you do not seek power right now. That's all.
Perhaps it is not the same kind of power that you can offer.
Perhaps. But for now, I do know this. I shall wait here for you to return. I'll transport you to the Grey Sisters.
I was going to make the suggestion that you do not come with us for
That was
this.
very good.
I
Last
assume I know
part
where you're
of-
going. And I would rather not.
That is fair.
We just need to let them know that our agreement is fulfilled and they need to complete their end of the bargain. And then we were...
Then I shall wait here by this tree. And she kind of points to this kind of hanging like lone oak and kind of a long field of just old wheat that's not really kind of attended to anymore. And she stands by the tree and just folds her arms behind her back. Her staff kind of floats by her side. And when you return, I shall take you to my home.
All right.
Right. And she sits down against the tree, folds her arms and waits.
I guess we'll, just wait for the others.
Yeah.
Head off. When we get a fair distance away from Bear, I think Juno will just say, Willoughby, you still have the blade in the box, right?
Yes.
We're going to, if Mist asks about the sword, we gave it back to Frey, right? Are we keeping that sword to ourselves, or, because there's no point just keeping it in a box if
I
we're
don't
going
see
to keep
why
it.
Mist is going to be talking to Frey anytime soon to find out
Yeah.
that we didn't give them the sword, if that's what you're asking.
Mm.
Do you think
That's what I'm
Frey's going
thinking.
to like file a report that it's missing? Like,
You think
Exactly.
Miss is going to ask for a
right.
play-by-play of what just happened?
And as
I'm
far as
really
I'm
good at
concerned,
those, I'll
Mist
tell
was
her.
willing to lose that sword the second they handed it to us, so I don't think they really care about it all that much in the grand scheme of things, considering
Good.
they gave it to us to use.
Yeah, do you
So-
think you would like give it to a bunch of mortals if you thought they were going to keep if you were like definitely they can't keep it, you would give it to
No,
them?
I mean, who knows? Who knows the things they got? I was just checking that we're keeping it, right?
mean,
Once
We need to
we,
find something to do
I don't
with it,
have it,
though.
that's true.
I was thinking that we need to decide who is going to potentially use it, right? So once we've done all this business with Mist, we make sure we decide who is actually. Well, there's no point in just staying in its box. We need to do something with it. So let's have a think about that once we've dealt with Mist. Okay.
Okay. You're going to move on until you meet with Mist?
Yeah.
Unless anybody else has anything, like Juno's happy to just go straight there.
Okay. Then waiting exactly where you left her. Pretty much hovering in the exact same spot. Didn't sit down, didn't rest, just waits. Floating in the air, almost her wings, just drifting slightly.
Are their injuries healed at this point?
She
'Cause
would
they
have
were
healed her
pretty
injuries.
beaten up. Yeah, I
She would have
figured.
rested since.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have come now. You can see where the damage in her armor has almost sealed over, and there's almost this like hardened flesh-like material that is like sealed between each piece of the armor. And you can see now all of the wounds are now gone. She looks more beautiful than ever. Her short hair kind of like flowing behind her, and her wings just. As she sees all of you approach, she turns her head. takes off her mask and puts it under her arm, cradling. You return.
Yeah.
Is the deed done?
Of course
It is.
done.
No more Bia with Frey.
And where's the god's body?
Not here.
Gone.
I don't have it.
You left it there?
We took it out.
The deed is done. The oath we saw. We've achieved what you asked. What we agreed.
Very well. And you would say this? She flicks a hand. A mist kind of dome forms around you all.
Mm-hmm.
Only the truth can be spoken within my mist. You dealt with Bia.
Bayer is no longer under Frey's power, as agreed.
Frey has no... And where is Frey now?
We do not know.
No.
We actually don't know.
Probably screaming and crying about
Thankfully
being
not
gone.
with us.
What purpose? If you found any, did Frey have Bia?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I was going to say, out of character, did we didn't know.
We don't know, but like there's also the thing of like Lena just kind of did. Is it just because
I'm
we're
trying to remember
the
what-
truth
I'm-
doesn't
yeah.
mean
Yeah.
we can't decide to
Right.
not answer, and someone else in the group that actually does not know the full deal just
Yeah.
answer.
What I'm
can
trying
be
to
silent.
I'm trying to remember what we know
Yeah,
in
I'm trying to
character as
think,
well.
like,
Because
So
per
here's what
person.
I saw, right? Here's what Lena saw and told everybody is I see her on the bed in this cave. There's a headless body on the other bed a couple feet away. She's chained down. It looks like it's draining energy or something from her to the body, which is twitching like crazy.
My understanding is
And then I stabbed
he's
it.
trying to drain her of her power
that was
Ah.
my understanding. Gina will
or
agree.
his own uses.
Yes.
And you stopped this.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did.
And once again, Bia would not be accessible by Frey.
They will not be accessible again.
No.
Good. Well, mortals, you've proven better. I thought I was sending you to your deaths.
Wow, thanks.
Mortals can surprise you.
Too often. Very well. We made an agreement. Your friend's soul will be released, as will those that fought and were trapped. However,
Thank you.
I will allow them to go where they wish. But I'll make
Alright.
them the offering
That is fair.
of coming to Valhalla.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
But it must be
Fine.
their choice. It must be an offer only.
Their choice. But I'll tell you this, it'll be an easier path than any other choice.
That is what most of them wanted, apparently,
As long
so.
as it is up to them, that is fair, right? Don't
Sure.
bring them back if they don't want to come back.
Another part of our agreement was the right to ask some questions. What do you know about why they were trapped in limbo? In this limbo?
Some time ago, our path between life and death was less easy to access. We are still looking into it. She drops the mist around you. What we do know is the majority of them were going to hell.
The majority of the ones here, or like in general? Okay.
Hell is easy to access as the soul drifts there. The reason these ones were caught in the void was due to my magic. I was trying to funnel them away from going to hell. I can still transport a soul individually if someone blesses a body just as they die. I can come, as can any of my sisters, and judge the soul there and then.
Okay.
However, this is inefficient. In a battle, we are not able to go individually to every single soldier. We do so through other means. Those means have been cut off recently, since all this turmoil has been happening.
Excuse me.
Only a few years ago, things started to begin to stop working. But we will solve it. And for now, the worthy, the true worthy, go to Valhalla, as those are the ones who are handpicked by us. So consider everyone that you have around you. And she raises a hand. You see wisps just coming towards her fingernails. You feel the back of your head, Eldred, as you feel the spirits begin to leave you. Do you try and resist?
No.
Then you feel them pull out of you. It's like a cold wind from the inside out. It blows out of you and they go towards her fingertips. She closes her hand. She places her hand against her mask. And you see a handprint form of this kind of mist around it. She places it on her face. Mist now starts foaming around her, just kind of drifting. These are the ones that accepted it. All of them came freely. Only one of them I have to ask. Your friend. She reaches a hand out and draws Draven's soul out. You see his dark soul kind of come over towards her fingernail and she curls it round. Death lingering on it. Your friend is not like the other souls.
That's fair.
I grant him a choice. She places it towards her mask. You see a simple line, like a scar. She takes her mask off. He has chosen to return to his home. Pity.
For him.
I should transport these souls back as per our deal. As far as it takes me to transport this one soul. Our business is concluded. You may leave, mortals, and pray that the next time we see one another it is for more fortuitous times. For perhaps I'll be by you at your death.
Right.
She places it back on her face. And she takes Draven's soul far off to the east.
Well, the cat Willoughby. Are you okay? Do you feel better now?
Well, yeah, I feel like I'm not immediately responsible for, a friend of mine being trapped inside of limbo anymore. I'm a little bit disappointed that Draven essentially just ditched us from the sound of things. Maybe I'll have words with him at some point in the distant future, but
He
for
might
now,
be
I'm
going
fine.
for reinforcements. Who knows?
Right? He had the plan. It felt like all the time, so maybe he
Yeah,
can.
maybe.
Maybe given what we learned, it may still be possible that when we learn things, we can keep Draven's soul informed. It was something he wanted to do. I'd hate for him to not have that chance.
Maybe we get to Ragnarok and he's there anyway, right? Just from a different place with different allies.
Or maybe if this business with what we must do next, perhaps there may be a clue in the one that I know Draven wanted to really punish. But yes, I'm glad that we did this. I'm glad that we could alleviate him. Eldred, how are you now that those spirits are gone? I didn't realize there were so many.
Yeah, are you good?
Yeah, I mean, after a while, it turns into kind of like static white noise. But yeah, now everything feels so quiet.
Good.
It's kind of freaky. But it's a relief.
I'm glad. You know, you can, if there's things, I didn't realize how bad it was. You can talk to us at any time. If there's anything we can do to help, just ask.
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything. We were doing everything. We were doing exactly what we should be to fix it, so I didn't know what else.
Okay. Even if we can't fix it, if you just need to blow off some steam.
Okay.
So, we head back. Are we ready to go? I mean, Juno will look at especially Eldred and Lena. I mean, you'll be going to Mesogaia. This will take you between different worlds. You'll be going to a different world entirely. Are you ready? Is there anything you need to say or do, or people that you need to send a message to, or anything? I mean, I don't know how we'll get back.
My family's in hell. I'm not going to send them a message, right? Just okay.
No.
Are the Grey Sisters fully in Mesogai? Are they in their own place? Like, how does that, do you know?
Imagine it
I
like
think it was said that they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pocket realm of Mesogai.
Got it.
So similar to when you make a demiplane.
But they were normally accessed, like you can go in Mesogaia and
Yeah.
go and find them in
Yeah.
Mesogaia, right?
Yeah, it's not by the rules of demiplane. It's more of a, if they want to be found, they'll be found.
And Willoughby I'm guessing that the roots of Yggdrasil won't go to Mesogaia, but there must be connections of you when your travels.
Well,
Did you?
I mean, there was the connection from here to Ethela, but finding specific smaller connections between greater planes isn't exactly easy. That's a little bit more complicated. You can't really just whip that together and find it in a couple of days. So whatever way we're getting over there, either we're taking that way back or we're going the long way.
I mean, if the worst comes to the worst, there are scholars at the academia who studied the planar travels and the realms and traveling between the two worlds. Maybe we could find someone there that could help us, or a ship that would sail us across. I know that was also possible at times, but and my family knows sailors who might make that journey. So worst case scenario, I think perhaps we will have an option, but it might take some time. But if everyone's ready, then I guess we just go now.
Yeah, well, I mean, either way, it feels like this is the only chance we're going to get to deal with this specifically, so I'm as ready as I'm going to be. I've dealt with all of my bullshit. Well, aside from the vengeance thing, but I'm not going to deal with that. Honestly, I'm just gonna kind of sweep that whole thing under the rug
No?
for now.
Well, I guess we have other things going on. Don't write it off entirely. It might feel good at some
That
point.
was
you know,
weird,
like-
though. The vengeance guy in the city, that was weird. That was nothing.
That was a bit much. Like, don't do that. You know, like
I'm just gonna. I'll unpack that all when we're done with all of this.
that's fair.
Like all of this
Sounds
in
wise.
decades from now.
Okay.
Is Achilles' body still there?
No.
Just crumpled.
No, it's
Achilles'
gone.
body's gone. Oh, damn. Can't loot it. Two things. One is an in-character thing.
Mhm.
Decide who gets the sword, and then the second one is an out-of-character thing. Can we just recap, because I'm very tired and my brain isn't working, I don't have my notes. So, we know that fate stopped working, like the fates vanished or pulled away from the world or something. The Norns all went, we out, fates are crazy. And that's when everything really started to go wrong. That's when, the age of more, monsters and destiny and all that kind of got messed up.
And the path to the afterlife.
That all got messed up at the same time as we just learned from Mist. That was all kind of being muddled around with at the same time. Do we know if there's a connection between this and the whole Yggdrasil poisoning thing and things like that as well? Like, this is where I'm struggling with my brain.
Timeline-wise?
Yeah.
Timeline-wise, not with the fates. The poisoning happened 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
We don't have any kind of
The fates was
connection
one,
between
yeah.
those two things.
The only thing is we know that it was that vision that we saw was that it might be one of the it's one of the Mesogine gods. Probably.
We know it's
Yeah.
someone in that room
Yeah.
did it.
Which was the
But
top of
we
Olympus,
don't
basically.
know
Yeah.
Which one? It was a very vague kind of.
Yeah.
This is like You season 4 on Netflix. That's all I'm gonna say.
Which is our sponsor for today. No, you could you could pretty much
the
deduce
shows
that
are
it's one of them.
Yeah. And then the reason to go and see the fates was because Braggy told us something. I'm just trying to remember why we're going to these great
Braggy's
sisters.
the one who told us about the fates and the Norns.
Yes.
And then we went to Svepir. Then we did all of that shit. We talked to I keep forgetting her name. And then she was like, yeah, shit's fucked. I know about the present. Take the tears, go to the thing. Do
The
whatever.
Grey Sisters are.
Because they're not the fates.
They're not the fates.
No.
They are
No.
But
perceivers of fortune, essentially. They can see the future and the past and whatnot, but they don't. They're not.
Yeah, it
they
feels
weren't
like they're
the
just kinda
aspects of it.
on the
Yeah, but
edges
they-
of stuff, just kind
but
of.
they might have
right.
knowledge about the
How
fates.
I've been viewing it is that we got as much information as we could from the Norns, and
Yeah.
now this is one of the only options we really have to get any further insight as to what happened with a party that we can still reach that isn't
Yeah.
off the grid and gone.
And they might even be able to give us more information about who poisoned the Yggdrasil as well, potentially.
Yeah, so this is like a last ditch. Let's get some
Also,
information.
they're
Gotcha. Okay.
creepy.
Head is now, brain is in brain. Head
We
is
also
brain.
know that we
in.
gotta be careful with them, and they're creepy and weird. There's a hummingbird.
Thanks for laughing,
Sorry,
Brizzy.
I didn't mean to do a squirrel thing, but it was very exciting.
You're like a little dog. Just go. Yeah,
it was
we have
just
to be
it was,
focused. We have to be
right
focused. Oh, a
against
squirrel.
The window. It was cute. Other birds are available. Yeah. So then we know that the Grey Sisters are kind of shady and creepy and weird as well, and we have to be careful.
Yeah. Thanks.
So good. It's been a
Sweet.
while. I think you first learned about them about 35 episodes ago. So in some time. So, are you heading back towards Bia?
Yeah.
Okay. She's exactly where you left her by the time you kind of return back. Walking through the meadows and kind of coming across her, she stands up as she sees you coming in the distance. Dusts off the bottom of her cloak. And then folds her arms behind her back again. And looks at you. Ready?
All set. Although I do have a question. Is this going to be a trip that we can take back when we're done, or are we finding our own way home?
I made a deal to get you to the Grey Sisters. I have no means of waiting around. Besides, of all creatures ungodly like, those ones I despise.
Oh, you don't get along with them?
They are thieves. They are crooks.
Thieves
Of power that is not theirs.
That's fair, right? You would hate them then, huh?
They steal from the fates. They steal from the gods.
Like they leech it away. They just kind of like.
They look where they're not meant to look. That eye of theirs should be burst.
The-
A tooth
the-
of theirs
why
cast
do
into
you-
the sea.
How come no one stopped them then? If it is.
So they just have one eye, like one big eye, and like one tooth. What are
That
they?
is correct. This is all they were
Mhm.
born with to
Weird.
share. The reason
I'm
that
glad
they
I
are
know
not-
that now, because I feel like that'd be a whole lot to process when I
Mhm.
got there.
Yeah, now you're not
know
going
what
to
I
make
mean?
like a
Oh.
weird face or something like, oh.
Yes, no, they
right.
physically share the eye so they can all see, and the tooth is so they can speak. If I remember
It is
my
really
my law.
inefficient.
That's wild.
You
Yeah,
You can talk without teeth.
yeah,
Well, I don't have teeth.
that's
It
true. You're
is-
talking just fine.
Magic, as I understand it.
Such is the way.
Nor actually do I have eyes. So really,
I got
am I
extra
one to
teeth.
talk?
It is a metaphor-born reality. The way to understand why they are still kept around and why we have not destroyed them is that our gods have no all-seer. We don't have an Odin. Believe it or not, Olympus still sometimes relies on the Grey Sisters for information themselves.
Oh shit.
The sisters have become useful to our king. But if it was my way, I would toss them from the top of their tower. Watch them drown in the waters they so gleefully laugh over.
Are they heavy? Maybe we could toss them. I'm
Well,
joking. I'm not
that's-
going to toss them.
I was actually going to go the opposite way and say we
Oh.
are not open for any more small jobs or side
I'm
work
sorry.
at the moment. So,
Oh, I would not dare defy Zeus and have that work. But what I will do is leave you at the base of the tower and go my own way.
all right, we'll find our
Understood.
own way back.
We understand.
I can figure it out, everyone. Don't worry about it.
You're super good
We-
at math.
we
Right,
have-
that's like your
Behind.
thing.
It's
We
my
have
thing. I can
options.
figure it out.
There
Hold
are
your breath.
options.
Huh?
And she grabs like the air almost like it's a wheel and just kind of pulls it around, and you see this kind of tear, and she pulls it down and goes, she almost collapses. All it is in your face right now is this kind of purple swirl, almost like a whirlpool, and it starts drawing you, and your body starts getting kind of stretched and pulled towards it. And you go.
We'll be
Now.
so comfortable around teleportation magic and like stuff like that.
He
They
shouldn't
just
be.
Immediately walks
That's how he
in.
got burnt alive.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah,
Like,
Juno again.
shrugs and
As your body kind
Follow.
of stretches inside, you feel yourself pulled, like you're being kind of stretched out, like dough that's just been rolled. You feel your whole body stretch, and it doesn't feel like you're going to survive this journey. Before you start to feel your legs like they're 20 feet away from you, 30 feet, and then they start coming back closer. But it doesn't feel like you're moving. You're just trapped in this little purple, almost void. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, water starts gushing through and hits you. It comes against you hard. And you hear the sound of water pouring against you. You're under it. And then you hear the crashing of water against land. It's dark. Lightning sometimes illuminates the pitch black water that you're under. Beer swims, breaks the surface, and fades. What do you, each of you want to do?
We'll be winning first, but I think arriving in a place that we are underwater, he's going to look for Juno and make sure that
yeah.
they get up to the surface.
Lena's gonna look for
Because he
Wait.
knows at this point in the game,
Yeah.
he knows that
Yeah,
Juno
well-
doesn't do well with water.
Well, when you look at Juno, Juno is like fumbling with the magic ring that she got. And then I'm going to activate it, which will propel me 100 feet towards the surface, jettisoning me, because I'm going to activate this like flip underneath thing where I'm like...
Do it.
Nice.
All right.
Well,
it's very kind.
Like
yeah.
bottom of the like. Did we like appear at the bottom of like a pool of water, or is this like the middle of a body of water?
You are
Like no ground.
No ground around you right now. You're just kind of drifting. Maybe it's hard to
Dark
say
water.
how far underwater you are right now. You're
It'll
just-
start floating up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Here's
you
wood.
are wood. You start going back towards the surface. Lena and Eldred, what are you doing?
I'm looking for Eldred to make sure she's
You got
headed
dark
towards
vision?
the surface.
No.
No.
Pitch black. You don't see each other.
But
I think if
I
it's-
don't have to worry about the breathing. So
pitch
I'm going
black?
to-
Eldred does.
Because like I don't think here's the thing.
Maybe?
I don't think Willoughby, and how I've always tried to RP it with underwater for Willoughby is
I don't know. if
I don't think it's possible for him to swim. I think that he can either grab the ground if he's using like his feet, or he can float. So
I'm going
I went in
to-
first. I'm not going to be close enough to grab anyone else to pull them up with me, but what I can do is wild shape to glow in the darkness.
I would
Yeah.
also
So
activate
I
my
will
cloak.
act like a beacon. to
Like a
the-
lighthouse floating on top of the water ahead of you, or up above you, maybe 15 feet above. Juno, you burst through the water, and you realize as you land on top,
Mm-hmm.
you see up ahead of you, maybe 30 feet away from you, is this beach of just water just crashing up against sand. There's only one landing. It looks like this island is extremely small. It has one portion of a hill that just kind of drifts over to one side, but filled with rocks and boulders. One small beachfront, and then a tall peninsula that goes up into the sky with a temple at the top. It seems to be an entrance on the land, but you are now 40 feet away from the beach.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk because I'm stood on the waves because of the ring. I can literally walk on water as well at the moment. I'm going to pull a torch out and light it with like a tinderbox, like kind of dry it off on my robes and light it. So Eldred and Lena, who are underwater, and obviously I know Willoughby's gonna start glowing, but almost to be like a beacon of like, hey, like come up to me, like here's light to come up to me, basically.
Oh, no.
For the water
Activate
pouring
my-
down on you. And you can see that lightning is kind of crashing around. There's a nasty storm that floats around this island. You see just
Oh, it's a storm. Okay.
lightning bursting around. Rain is pouring all over you, soaking you from the top up.
Okay.
What do you want to do, Lena?
I'm going to activate my cloak for heartbeat detection to try to see if Eldred is near me.
Okay.
Because I don't
Yeah.
need to breathe.
Only a couple
I
of feet
can
away.
Breathe underwater.
About
so.
3 or 4 feet away to your left.
All right, I'll swim over to her and kind of grab her,
You feel a hand just grab you in the dark.
and then I'm gonna make a. It's me. It's me. Come on, let's go. We've got to go. Need to start kicking.
Swim up to the surface. You can feel the waves now pushing you. Underwater, you were kind of drifting back and forth, and you kind of with the waves. Now you're at the surface. You can feel them occasionally trying to drag you under. The salt water hitting against your mouth, pulling into you.
If I see them coming up to the surface, Joe, because I can technically like, walk on the ground. If I walk up to them and just get my hands like up against the surface, can they hold on to me as I walk so that they don't get dragged away? Like I can almost like kind of walk with them while I'm on the surface.
Yeah, you could do that.
Just basically like, especially for Eldred, who's in armor. Like Lena's a good swimmer, but like in case Eldred gets pulled by the waves, like I'm almost like acting like a above water anchor.
Yeah, no,
like,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that she
yeah,
can like
yeah.
hold on, like until she gets like to the point where she can like breathe, and then as she's like swimming, I can kind of help her along.
You can.
Can I cast magic with a verbal component while underwater or no?
No, I don't believe so.
You could get your head above the
How
water,
much
right?
air
Like,
is
you
in
just
your
kind
lung?
Oh, if I'm up there.
If you,
Am I
you
up?
swam up with Lena and would be able to get you kind of breaking through the
Okay.
surface of the water.
That I would very quickly just cast summon celestial.
Okay.
To summon this celestial-ish just spirit, like a white spirit.
okay.
Has a fly speed, so it can
Nice.
carry me and like hold
Smart.
me
Yeah,
up.
it can grapple you and kind of like
Yeah.
carry you up into the air. Yeah, you get this kind of almost spirit form that just kind of takes under and lifts you above the waves. You can see where the waves just go just under your feet. Some of them, you, Juno, you've got this strange feeling where because you can't actually be pushed underwater right now, when the wave hits you, you kind of go up with it, and
It's like the land is literally.
Yeah.
So I'm almost imagining that Juno's like using her monk reflexes to like almost have to like jump and tumble
Yeah.
over the waves and things like that. Like she's kind of like, like in Mario, like jumping over
Yeah.
like oncoming obstacles or like running with the waves alongside them and stuff.
It's an uncomfortable feeling. But you manage to kind of like stay atop. The beach isn't far ahead of you. There is a boat pulled up against it, a smaller boat, and then another kind of longer one that's docked at the moment. But you can see the beachfront looks like it goes up onto kind of very rocky, kind of graveled ground that pushes over towards the base of this peninsula, where a great archway door sits, shadowed. How are you all going to get to land? I mean, easily, Eldred, Juno can walk forward, Lena, you can swim. Willoughby, I imagine, is someone going to... Because he can't swim.
I think I can't paddle myself to
Did you say... right, you said you couldn't swim. I was just assuming you would...
I think that the way it would go... Actually, the way I'd put it is, I don't think Willoughby can submerge.
Okay.
Is I think what I meant. Because it would make sense, like, people use wooden paddles to paddle a boat. Willoughby can't submerge without some kind of grip to pull himself under.
He floats up to the surface, and then you can use your arms to literally
he can
create your
surface swim, but unless I wild shaped into something else, I can't actively submerge myself into water.
Okay. You'd be able to push yourself over towards the beachfront and kind of go in with the waves as they kind of pull in and out, and use them to kind of get some leverage onto the sand. As soon as you kind of get closer within 10 feet, you can feel the sand actually come beneath your feet. It falls below you and kind of drifts down into the depths, but you manage to get your footholds and get onto the beachfront. The lightning seems to crackle almost like in a circular motion around this tower. The rain pours down heavy against you. And the entrance up ahead awaits.
Storm.
Is everyone okay?
Oh yeah, is everyone okay? Then is this a magic storm?
Yeah. Oh. Juno, you still hurt, right, from this fight?
No, suddenly I feel stronger, as if I've not been injured anymore. Like I grew more powerful.
What? That's
the
crazy.
spirit, even if it feels a little delusional considering how quickly and urgently you were injured just a couple hours ago.
Your wounds are healed.
I literally, because leveled up. I leveled up and it gave me max HP. I mean, I can take that down, but like...
I don't think we know what to do.
It's up to Joe.
Let's not get too much into the fucking into the weeds of D&D bullshit. All right, we feel.
I leveled up and it put me at max HP. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, well, my defender celestial.
What is that?
You got a friend. What's their name?
This is just out of
Did you
desperation.
find them in the water?
No,
like create them.
I think they drowned many years ago in this.
That's awful.
See.
Oh.
But now they're going to help us for about an hour, right?
Oh,
That's better
an
than what
hour.
you were doing.
Then we don't have to name them or anything, right?
No,
What they?
I think we need to get out of this storm. I know, Willoughby, perhaps you know this, but Lena and Eldred, keep in mind that in Mesogaya, a storm is rarely just a storm. This could be
I don't love
the work of a god.
Yes.
This could easily be Zeus. This could be Poseidon. Let's get out of here, basically.
True.
There's
Where
two boats.
is-
Can we look around and like?
Where
Well, there's the archway, right?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
is Bea, who brought us here, still here, or have they already
No, she
fucked
left.
off completely?
Ditched
She left
out.
They
immediately.
left. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Is there? Can we look around, see if there's anyone
Just wanted to make sure we didn't have to do like
outside?
an awkward goodbye or anything like that.
You can make a
I think there was
perception
an
check.
archway. Yeah, there was an archway door. There's the
doesn't see
lighthouse.
it. I
There's
don't
like
care.
a temple. Juno would probably point out what she saw because I've got the eyes as well. I'd probably like, there's a temple up there. There's this archway. Blah blah blah.
Up ahead of
Because
you.
there was two boats there, and I just want to be like, is somebody else trying to like walk in as well? Etc.
No one that you can see is on the base level. You can see there's just sand that kind of drifts up. The archway seems to have just darkness kind of going into it. The island does have a little bit of extra section, which has kind of almost this jutting portion of a rock and a hill that goes out into the sea, but you can clearly see there's nothing up there. The only way someone could have been here if they are with a boat is if they're at the top. Or within...
And you
within
said
the
there's like a
peninsula.
temple-looking
Yeah, it's
place
essentially
at the
like
top.
imagine a singular, just rocky peninsula that goes all the way up. This kind of rock tower, a mountain that looks unnaturally just kind of almost cylindrical, like a cylinder. You can see the archway almost goes in like it's hollowed out as a means of climbing.
I'm guessing that the temple at the top, we're talking like kind of classic ancient Greece, like Pantheon kind of
pillar,
like columns.
exactly.
Kind of,
Columns
yeah.
around.
Yeah. So like Juno would just point and say like, that's where we need to go.
All right. Well,
let's go.
Willoughby, perhaps you and I should go at the front if you've got light from your power, then because this looks dark in here.
yeah, sure.
I think Willoughby will also, knowing that he's only got about 10 minutes of this glow, this was more of something he did urgently because he didn't know where we were going to be showing up. He produced flame on like I guess just in his hand, because if in any other situation it would burn out anyways, but if he just produces flame in his hand, it won't hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just gonna make a flame in his hand and not throw it, and just hold it there.
Okay.
Head into the passageway.
Okay, you start going towards this archway, and you can see Willoughby as you kind of gleam this light off. The light starts piercing in, and you see the light gleams into the shadow.
And in that shadow, you'd probably see the glimpse of a figure. There's loose fabric of like mainly black with white, orange, and gold lining all across. The sleeves have like a white rim and the pattern that's like almost a smooth flowing river going around. Across their hips, you see like throwing knives, and they're wearing gloves with the fingers exposed, nails almost like claws at the end. Their eyes are red, and their mouth and nose are covered by a veil under a hood, and there's light scales like going up the side of their neck and under their eyes. On their shoulders, like a pauldron of onyx and gold, and on like the back of the waist, you can see a small blade sitting under a small shield, and there's a peak of white braided hair under the hood that they're wearing.
Oh, yes.
Arms crossed, looking a little impatient, a little pissed.
You look sick, by the way. the character looks sick.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Nod.
Hello?
Hello?
We don't know where we are. We have no intentions. We just arrived.
Well, we do. We're hoping that.
We kind of do know where we are.
We know.
Well, we hope we know where we are.
We hope we know where we are.
You are here for the days, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes. Been waiting very patiently. And he kind of just like looks up and then just scowls again. But the Greys are not necessarily known for being punctual nor useful.
You've been waiting to see them as well.
Yes.
How long have you been waiting for?
What feels like hours, but may only have been minutes.
Okay, well that's not that long in the grand scheme. Then have you like walked in any closer? Have you been kind of lingering in this shadow?
If you walk in without them calling for you, that is more of a mistake. They are not ones who avoid ceremony.
Duly noted. Have you talked to them before, or this is your first time?
This is the first time I've spoken to them.
Us too.
Hopefully the last.
What is your name, traveler? Before we continue conversations, perhaps we should ask and introduce ourselves.
Genos.
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 Nice to meet you. I am Lena.
Lena.
Eldred.
Eldred.
I'm Willoughby.
Willoughby.
Juno Jocasta.
Juno Jocasta. It's a
Just-
pleasure.
Just Juno is fine. I find it strange that a lot of my friends in Midgard just seem to have the one name, but yes.
We have another name.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
In that
you never-
moment, you all see
lot of
little orange snakes peek out from under the hood looking at each of you.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
All right, this is where now I have to ask the question:
Yep.
does Juno know what this is? Because obviously Mark knows some of the stories and legends of what this could be, but I don't know how much of that would disseminate out to the people of Mesogara.
Roll
Because
a.
it might affect her reaction.
Give me a nature check.
Sure. Nature? Ooh. That That is only an
I'm trying to
11.
think of if Willoughby would have any, like, because I know he went to Ethla. I don't think he went to Mesogaia. Is this something that would be surface level enough that he would hear stories about it in Ethla? Like, details about
No, and the reason
Okay.
why is because I think snakes in many different kind of mythologies would be used in different ways. So,
Yeah.
I think in regards to this, it could mean many different things. You would know, Juno, of Gorgons, but that's a group of sisters that are very unique to themselves. Though you probably wouldn't know of anyone that has had snakes attached to them like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Outside
heard
of
of the
those tales.
Gorgons,
Your
basically. Yeah.
pets?
Little pets, I love snakes. Are they
Look at
friendly?
that.
But these are not pets. These are of me.
Oh shit!
It is
What?
Like it is.
parts of me.
You are part snake,
Yes.
I guess. Oh. Well,
Emotionally
pretty cool.
connected.
Genos pulls down his hood, and you see the snakes go from orange to white, fusing into the braids on his hair.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Well, that's pretty cool.
That's
that's
interesting.
really cool.
Is it
I-
too? Is it?
Let's
Is
just
it?
sit back up.
Do they have this? Your thoughts?
I was
Yes.
going to ask if you could see through their eyes, but I didn't want to ask
do.
anything that was insensitive or, you know.
Sorry, we've not seen someone
Yes.
with snakes for like.
That is interesting. That is
They are my
fascinating.
eyes.
So you could just have one looking behind you all the time. That is
Technically, yes.
Forgive me, Jonas. I had only heard of the Gorgon sisters. I did not know. Are you part of that? Is that a family? Are you from somewhere in Mesogaia? I've never met someone like you before.
I've just met you.
Right.
That's fair.
Sorry. Just in the academia, I had not.
Also, many people do not look favorably on the Gorgon sisters. No one smart would answer that question with yes, even if it was
Right.
true.
They like
Who are
asking
the Gorgon
questions.
sisters? Sorry, I don't even know who they are. Are they bad? Like, are they
No.
jerks?
They are-
stories.
Powerful, and people judge power with negativity. Even the Greys have done that.
Right. Speaking of the Greys,
Yes.
have you, before our arrival, done anything like make some loud noises? Just really
Are you going to
make
ask?
your presence
Are you going to ask them if
known?
they,
You know what?
if they
You know
try to
what?
knock?
You should do that.
All right.
Sure.
People cast Call Lightning, which in a storm where there's already lightning.
Willoughby, don't do
I'm
that.
gonna just
Yeah.
move to the side, and there's just a big old toothy grin under the veil.
Let's
I
move
think
it.
like when
I
because
think-
Juno's
I
seen
think
Willoughby cast
without-
Call
without
Lightning before,
being-
so Juno's like no, and just
Without
like
being informed by the Mesogaians in the party, there is a level of Willoughby has dealt with enough
Yeah.
gods from
Yeah.
multiple pantheons to just be like, I want to move this along. I don't want to be in the rain anymore. I'm going to make some noise and get this fucking ball
They're
rolling.
not gods.
So
You-
yeah, he's gonna
You cast
call
Call
lightning,
Lightning.
and he's gonna fucking drop like 5 lightning bolts down in a clearing right in front of them.
The lightning kind of burns the sand and causes it to burst around. As
One thing Genos wants to say, it's very interesting to call lightning in a place that's probably within reach of Zeus.
Yep, that was why I didn't want you to do that. But hey, yeah, it's done. We move on.
you
Oh
see,
jeez.
from the shadows, the fourth one strikes. This thin face comes in with kind of almost like loose skin, like he's lost a lot of weight. It's kind of very loose on his neck, very kind of pulled together against his face. One eye, a cyclops with a toothy grin himself, long whining smile. But it's not smiling around, it's frowning. You see 4 arms come in wearing a long, kind of dark grey robe, bald, just kind of leans straight in, a very gangly cyclops, and goes out of the darkness from within. The sisters do not appreciate impatience. You will come up when you are called. If you are here on behalf of the Lightning King, then they are not interested in your envoy.
Oh, not on behalf of them. We just wanted to make sure that it was known that we were also in line.
They knew the moment you arrived in the water.
Well, great then. Then we will be here when the line has moved forward. Thank you very much.
They will get to you when they get to you. You will be patient from this point onwards.
Great.
I will bring you to them.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Disappears into the darkness again.
Do you know, in Atala they queue a lot too, so you should be used to this, Willoughby, right?
Oh yeah, there's loads of
I
that.
remember there were like loads of queues.
I mean, this
all
is
the
just
time.
mainly like a courtesy thing. Wilby does not clock that there's even a point where he may have insulted them in any way. He just thinks that he did just like let them know that we are.
He rang the doorbell.
He rang the doorbell at this house. He's
You
like,
walked
Yeah.
up to a dude waiting for an elevator and you hit the button too. You're like, I don't know.
For the record, for the future will be.
Yeah.
You know how you're quite worried when we were in Midgard about getting the attention of, say, Odin or any of these gods that you were quite right.
Most
You were
of those gods, if we pissed them off, would
Have dicks
rip us
and
in
would
half.
kill you.
Kill
Yeah,
us immediately.
The same applies here, by the way. If you Zeus, if you piss him off, will come down and blow you to smithereens. And calling lightning it's like sending up a signal flare. Like, hey, I'm going to channel some of your power now. It's like putting a big sign saying, "Come smite
Wait,
me."
like he thinks he's the only one that can do lightning? Like,
Yeah, right?
Here
Lots of people can do that.
he was, and here
He was literally called King of Lightning.
yeah, he is literally the king of it. Yeah, exactly.
And he's the
Thank
only
you,
one
thank you.
allowed?
That's kind of lame.
So, do you not
Using that
have people that
power.
can cast spells?
Of
like
course,
what I
of
just
course,
did?
of course we do. But
I
they
just
are
wanted to know if I just put
using.
a huge target on us. Just
You are
Yes.
you are using pieces of their power, right? You're
So,
calling
like-
some of it down.
Does that mean that if you can do the things that Willoughby can do, everyone just is like an unwritten agreement of like, oh, let's never do the lightning one because that might make Zeus kind of mad?
No, what I'm saying
how
is when you
bitchy is he
use
about
this
it?
stuff, that's he's fickle, like
Are
or
there
like
any-
they're like the gods
well,
of Midgard. They're fickle.
Okay,
Here's
I
I
just,
just
like, wanted to know
that
that
I have
worse
right
or,
now.
like-
Well, since we have so much time
We have a lot of
before,
time.
before obviously we're going to be getting in an audience, is there any unclaimed elements or things for spell casting?
Not
that
really.
I can use where God may not just kick the door down and go,
There's, like,
"That's
so
mine,"
many
and come
gods.
get me.
I'm not saying
Because
that that's
I
what's
don't
going
have
to
a
happen.
lot of options, is what I'm saying.
I
What I'm
recommend
saying-
controlling water instead.
Water? Isn't that what's that
Don't
one's name?
you, don't
Starts
you have a
with, like,
water
P.
god?
That's the
That
boss
sounds like a
man. That's
P guy.
Poseidon, right?
You do, but
Poseidon, that's what their name is.
it's think of it. It's not like they're going to come down. It's like every time you use something like that, especially the powerful elements, things that connect to the greater gods of Olympus.
Okay.
It's like you're
get
like
that,
you're drawing
like,
attention to yourself.
Don't
Just
you think he needs to get a thicker skin? I mean, come on.
You have
What are we
a
going to
great
do? Just,
faith
like,
in
don't
the
do
kindness
anything
and
ever
logic of
because
the
you might
gods.
offend someone.
Outside in the sea, you hear this deep rumbling, and you just see this massive fin just come out of the water
What the fuck?
and then dip back in. Only maybe 20 feet away from where you'd first arrived. And the
No.
waves push away.
What? You also have like giant things
Are
in
you
it. What the
telling me-
fuck? This place sucks.
Was that because we were just talking about? They
Poseidon?
can't be listening that carefully. That's ridiculous.
How
That
could they
I
listen to
hate
everyone
it.
at the same time?
You've never
would
been
hate
in
it if,
Mesogaia,
like,
have you?
The god of wealth suddenly
I've
dumped a
been
load of money on
adjacent to
me.
Mesogaia plenty of times, but not exactly here per se.
things are very different where they're from, Genos.
Being adjacent to a knife is different than standing on one. But standing on one, you move, you get stabbed.
Have you been to Midgard at all? Have you
Yes,
That's where we are from. So
I didn't like it.
Oh,
Yes, mostly I don't like it too.
Oh, it's a
I didn't realize we had so much privacy. Midgard, I never felt like it.
Oh yeah, now that I'm here and
That's a good way of
some
putting
kind
it.
of fin just showed up out of the water the second.
They,
Okay.
mention their name again, but insult them this time.
Don't do that.
It's hilarious.
That's why I'm staying vague.
No,
It is
it's
kind
great.
of
It's great.
Are
It's
they
great. It's
listening?
great.
Are they? Am I now kind of like dialed in, and they're paying deep attention to my full
Willoughby.
conversation?
Well,
Let me
they
put
are
it
they
to-
are brothers. The king and then of lightning and ocean. So
Are
like,
they in the same room right now?
Yes,
Well,
probably.
let's check. Say something, please.
They could easily be.
No, the
10
thing
gold.
is, Willoughby, the deal is they're all like Loki, right? They're all just like listening all the time, and then they're
Well,
just
hey,
in and
actually.
like fuck with you.
Let me put it this way, right? Imagine that you are in a busy tavern, but there's a play going on, right? There's a play, and you keep glancing over, and you're like, "Oh, that character looks, he's interesting. I like." That's how they think that we're just a big show. We're just a big play, and they're moving all the pieces around, and they're changing who's playing what. That's what we are. It is a show for them. And when they're interested, when you get their attention, they like to focus, and they like to offer you the roles. and
Willoughby, have you ever forcibly moved water and then felt so powerful doing it?
Oh, I do stuff with water all the time. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really make me feel powerful. It's kind of like a.
Oh, so it's easy.
It happens. Yes.
It's okay.
Moving water is no big deal.
It's not a big deal.
Like it's something that anyone can do.
I have a bottle in my bag that does it if I say so.
Oh, so
Yeah.
so you have the power to move water whenever you want because it's no big deal.
Well, it's no big deal to the bottle apparently because the bottle can do it.
So the bottle is power enough to do it.
Bottle has enough power to do it. Yes, is what I'm saying.
You've got power.
I take 3 steps
Sell
back.
yourself short.
There's definitely a level of like brave Willoughby just not fucking caring as much about the amount of just ice that could possibly be on
You hear
this like
the loudest
kind of snarky conversation.
crackle of lightning. Pretty much where the 5 of yours hit, it's about the size of that, and just causes the sand to erupt around and cause this kind of slight ditch into the sand. Where you guys were stood when you first showed up. And then the sand slowly starts filling it back up.
How do you think it sounds for them when like there's like 1,000 people all having conversations at the same time?
Saying their names at the same time, that's so annoying. I would
Well,
just
remember-
fight everyone too, honestly.
Remember what Bear said, they don't have an all-seer. But when you do certain things that are within their realm, you are calling to them.
Okay, what are like the big no-nos? New guy.
Just
And
be
Juno.
respectful with many things, you know? It's there's lots of different things. But yeah, I mean, you've got Zeus, Poseidon, Hephaestus, Apollo.
So
I'm not going
shouldn't
to.
use
That's the forged
bottle.
one, right? I'm not going to like.
Ares.
Don't
I
use
mean,
the bottle.
yes.
Don't
yes.
use the bottle. Do I? You just
yes.
you just said no and then yes. Do
I
use-
corrected myself. I had to think about it.
Can I
Use the
insight to get
bottle
the
when you,
true
like-
answer?
Sure.
Use the bottle when we swan song out of here, and we're like peace out, and then like.
That's a
use the
28. I want to know the real answer to this.
15. Nah, he doesn't have. He wants to see if the lightning is going to strike closer, so it's clear that he has like malintent in saying use the bottle.
Right. Okay.
Can
I think
you do
Juno's just
anything-
watching Genos and is like very sort of like, oh, what are you doing here? What's going on? Like,
say to you,
I like this guy, but like, I want to know what this is playing out to be.
Your toys. You're new people, and he's tired of waiting by himself.
Yeah.
So
it's
like,
fun.
can you do like lightning or water or anything, and you just are smart and you choose not to? Yeah.
Me? No.
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 I mean, I can't really do lightning either. That is okay. It's not there.
What about like healing magic or necromantic magic? Would that make any Mesogaian gods mad?
No.
Okay, so that's
I mean, if you wanted to, you're in the right place if you wanted to speak to her.
What if you just?
It's less about what's going to make them mad and more about your intention behind it. If you use something, let's say you use lightning, but you do not claim to be the greatest, claim to be the strongest, claim to be the wisest, they usually
I'm
won't care.
definitely not the greatest or strongest
Oh,
or the
shit.
wisest. I know that.
Willoughby, you got to watch out for the god of maps.
none of us are
Unless
trying
it's
to
about
become
a map
gods.
god, at which point I will take them down.
A map full
I'm
of
pretty
stars
sure
from the
one of
heavens.
those doesn't exist.
As you guys are
There's not a
talking,
map god, is there?
you hear this. And you just see the soldier land hard on the rocks nearby, falling from the top.
Shit.
His bones kind of broken, lies there dead on the side. And then you see this kind of drifting magic go down onto him. He's wearing the armor of Kanos for you, Juno.
Kanos.
And for you,
One
Genesis.
less.
That's a place, right?
That's the equivalent to Sparta.
Yeah.
Spartan. That's right. It was the Spartan.
You suddenly
equivalent,
see his arm snap back into place. The other arm and his neck. His body fixes. He goes, no, what? No, no. Drifts all the way back to the top.
I guess they're not done.
Them again.
What was that?
So what's going on over there?
Suffering.
Suffering? Is that just like just an adjacent thing going on here with the Grey Sisters? Is that something they're doing? As a
He might
side
have said
project?
something stupid.
I
Right.
don't like that guy for sure, huh? Okay.
Hey,
And-
that's not going to be you.
Is
You
that
don't have
the guy
bones.
who's in line before us? So we have to wait for them to be done with his suffering before we can.
Probably
It
not.
might just be part of the retinue of somebody. I mean, it looked like a common soldier, right? I can see if it might be that they're with someone, a general, a king, who knows? Or it could just be that guy.
Wait, was there anyone here like waiting when you got here, Jono?
Yes,
Like,
there was a handful.
Oh shit! So
How
you've
long have you
waiting and
been?
they were gonna-
Well, you said you feel like you've been in line for a couple
It
minutes.
probably
and a
hasn't
couple
been
hours.
that long, but it's been he's just relatively impatient. Maybe an hour.
So the line's moving relatively quickly in the grand scheme of things. Then
I
Yeah.
mean, I know that this is a bold question, Janos, but is there anything that you're here for specifically? Is there a specific answer that you're seeking?
I need them to give me answers on how to revive someone.
Oh shit!
it's a solid question to ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
And potentially how to kill the person that did it. So, yeah. I take what I can get.
Two
I mean,
solid questions to ask.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you lot here?
Oh, it's a whole thing.
I'm not actually
whole lot.
quite sure exactly what we're going to ask as well. We
We've
need
got
to
a
figure
lot of
that out.
vague things we need to ask.
Yeah, it was very rushed us coming here. We weren't expecting to come here so quickly.
What?
I had almost all this stuff. We just needed to put the lightning in the bottle, and then I had to go get the bittersweet, and then we would have come anyway.
Do we already have?
Yeah, but I think we would have had to physically come here.
No, I have the bottle though.
Oh, hold the bottle out.
Yeah,
No, you
like
can't
what?
do it now. It's going to.
Well, do it now. I've already cast the spell. Do it now.
Dude, he's
This
not
is
going to
well-
care. He's not going to care. is he?
I'm going to. Take the bottle out.
I mean, don't hold it. Just put it
Wood,
down and
wood
then.
isn't conductive. It's fine.
I'm not going to. I don't want to get hit with
We
the
could
lightning.
be
I'm,
in line for another 16 hours.
I'm going to put it on the
Hold the
ground.
bottle
Can you aim it if I put it on the
Of
ground?
course, I can
Lily?
aim it.
All right, we're going to see how good if you can get it on the first try. Don't break this bottle.
I'm not going to
Question.
break the bottle. I'm going to get it in the first try.
How are you going to trap the lightning in the bottle? Are you going to cork it?
Yeah, it's like we've got that thing.
magic
it's
bottle.
Like magic bottle. Another magic, different magic
blessed.
bottle. It's blessed bottle.
How long have you needed lightning in a bottle?
A couple of weeks. I don't know how long has it
It's been a
actually.
little. It's
How long have you had the magic
Very
bottle?
easy.
a couple
Not
of
that
days.
Like a
long.
day
maybe
or
a day.
two.
Why have you not done this till now?
We had
We've
other
been
stuff
so
going
Just
busy.
got a
on.
lot of
Yeah.
stuff going on, you see.
Nightmare.
There's always things going on.
We
In the
had to
middle of
fight a
this
giant
thing, this movie's
woman.
is going to call
Willoughby,
down the-
like,
This
burnt
is the
a whole
first time
bunch
we've
of
had to, like,
people.
relax.
Listen, I need all of us to agree never to talk about.
It's just very interesting.
I
you waited
wasn't
to call
going to
lightning
bring it
into a
up.
bottle.
I would
in the
honestly prefer.
domain.
I don't want to confront that. I'm bundling the burning thing away with.
You're
the
going to have to deal with it at
vengeance.
some point.
Yes, I'll deal with it in a couple of decades or centuries.
Okay.
With the
okay,
vengeance
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd appreciate it if we all respect my wishes in that
I
regard.
will respect that. We will not bring it
Very
up.
g-
You deal
okay,
with it when
sure.
you're ready. It is okay.
As long as you agree to deal with it at some point.
I will deal with it at some point, and if you're still
Okay.
alive when I
I
deal
probably
with it,
won't be.
You
I
likely
probably-
will long be dead when I
Yes.
deal with it. If you are alive, though, I will let you know.
Thank you.
You have a weird friendship.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have been
We
through
all
so much.
live for
recently. Yeah.
very large variations of age. I will likely far outlive most of these people.
You're going to be lonely.
Oh yes, I already am.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's
you pee all
weird
the
to
time,
say in the company of your friends.
Well, you understand.
No.
That's something you kind of
No, I
dial
get-
in
we get
on when
it.
you're hundreds of years old. Is the magnitude of loneliness you're currently in? It doesn't go away when there's suddenly people around for what is such a minuscule amount of your existence. No offense, all of you.
Juno will probably whisper to Genos like, he plays really grumpy, but he's actually quite sweet.
Is it because of like apples?
No, I think it's just because he's so lonely, but he's so curmudgeonly, you know.
No.
You hear the
What?
I guess not. I guess you don't know.
as someone's walking down the stairs. You can hear the echoing coming down towards you,
Oh, maybe it's your turn.
and you see 3 soldiers. One of them with a kind of plume in their helmet, all in full Kanos armor. One kind of with a cloak at the front of the others, and he walks down with the other 2 following. And he looks across all of you, nods his head, and then kind of turns and walks straight out into the sand. And begins walking over towards their ship. There are 2 soldiers kind of following in line. None of them looking like the one that fell.
Oh, it might have been a question of like a betrayal. Figured out it was him, maybe they tossed him.
Oh shit. Maybe that guy just wanted to stay, right? He was like,
No one wants to
"We're
stay
friends, we're
here.
Grey sisters.
The soldiers of Kanos are very loyal to one another as well. They're very patriotic in that regard. I doubt it. But yeah, and also, like General says, I don't think people want to stay here.
I will say, don't lie to the sisters. If that is in your disposition at all, don't do that.
I mean, they would probably be able to tell, right?
Yes, and if they can tell, you may be worse than the soldier you saw.
Yeah.
It's good
These
advice.
sisters may in some way be worse than the gods.
Oh. Wow.
They will sell out their family. And if you're not family, you will be worse off.
The head drifts in from the shadow.
Oh, wow.
They will see you now. The Grey Nigh are waiting. Follow me up the stairs. It might feel endless. But when your feet start to ache and bleed, you will reach the top.
Okay, good luck.
Come down, new friends.
And he turns and looks at you, Janice, and looks at the group. They have also requested to see you all together.
Oh,
Okay. Sure.
all right. I'm
Well,
really
that's
sorry if Wilby leans in and is like, I'm really sorry if this like messes up one of your questions. Like if we're now a bundle deal all of a sudden. I didn't really. That wasn't the intention to go up with you and ruin your situation here.
No, I appreciate that. And it's better for us to go together because with you all, they will be less pissed at me.
That's a good way to look at it.
You know what? We're surprisingly good at deflecting pissed off, powerful people.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, we're so good at it.
I will look at Willoughby and Jujuno and Eldred, and I'll be like, and then I'll look and I'll point at Genos as well, like,
I do not speak thieves' cant. I don't understand.
I mean, I don't mind.
I don't think there's ever been a time where you've done one of these things and my body language on webcam has not been what Willoughby would have been doing. It would have been so obvious that
For
whatever
sure.
you're doing, it is the most obvious visual indicator of you're trying to tell something to him in front of other people that he can't like really convey back in a quiet way. So he's like big like shrugging and stuff.
I just go,
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know. He says out loud.
Not to be we're being rude. Janos, my friend here has the ability to sort of allow us to communicate in our minds, and we've just met you, and we just want to. We might
to do it with
engage
us.
that.
It'd be rude to take you out, but then I wanted to make sure it was okay with them, and then I was going to ask you if you wanted to be part of it.
That's kind. Maybe. Have you ever met anyone that can read minds before?
I'm assuming they could probably I
honestly
don't know how
assume
it works.
Most
but
people can meet.
They became my best friend.
What? Okay. Oh.
Just bring him into it.
Yeah,
Look,
I'll.
Hungry.
Go with
Hungry.
it.
Little snakes.
I love the idea of having like tiny little voices for the snakes, and then like there's a main voice.
Tree.
You got 7 hours on this.
Your stairs are stone and built like they're kind of carved into the mountain. And you begin walking up and up in the darkness, going around and around, lit only by small little window holes every now and then that show you the outside, and lightning occasionally causes blue light to flash across the stairs. And you see when you look out, it doesn't even look like you've made it that far up, even though you've been walking for 20 minutes. It feels like you're only a tenth of the way. This continues up and up. Feels like hours have gone by. Your feet start to tire. There's a slow ascent as you keep going up and around, seeing the same stairs, the same window. You start to feel like it's the same one. When you look out, it doesn't look like you're any higher. Can I get Constitution saving throws from everyone to see how long it takes for you to time?
22.
20.
That's a 9.
21.
I'm gonna add a d6 to it.
Okay.
So that'll be a 13.
13's better. You are the only one of the group, with everyone rolling over a 20, to actually feel the extent of the kind of the fatigue that's setting in. It's almost magical fatigue. It puts you in a kind of a vulnerable position. You will get 1 level of exhausted.
I feel like there's a level of Willoughby is getting exhausted not just from being here, but being so far from Yggdrasil.
Yeah.
That's a
And
cool way of
Yggdrasil
thinking of
is
it.
getting weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's setting in now is the lack of magical connection
And you can
to the
see
source of his life.
there's an element of this ascent feels different to all of you. And your distance from Yggdrasil is almost playing on your mind. It's almost kind of, it tries to burn at your willpower and your physicality. You manage to get towards the top. You start to see the light coming in now from the outside, from the lit up sky. You realize you are nearly there. You hear another crackle of lightning, and then cackles of laughter. Here they come. That's what we're going to be able to break. So take a 5 minute, and then we'll come back with you meeting the Greys. Welcome back, Gabe. It's great to have you. We get to realize your character.
Gabe's here. Whoa!
I know.
I can't believe
You
it.
sons of bitches. I said to Gabe literally maybe a minute before, I was like, the audience doesn't know. We'll reveal it once you get to it. And I forgot to put it in the
didn't have
group
the
chat.
Twitch
And then
open,
as
dude.
soon as I
I
opened
just
it,
clock it. I know it's supposed to be secret a mile away. Everyone else is fucking out here.
I didn't even
Talking
think to check
about
the
what
Twitch
episode
page.
we've come back for so long. It was just like,
It's so funny.
it's funny. That has happened literally every time I've done that.
It's no, you've
Maybe-
never been able to
I've
secretly
never done
have
it.
a reveal once.
Like,
There's
legitimately.
always someone that fucking outs it.
It feels like it should happen. You know, it'd be wrong if it wasn't. Okay, we'll go to break and we'll be back in 5. So go stretch your legs and we'll see you soon. Be up. Still. Okay, chat will unmute in just 1 minute. Thank you for that raid as well. I appreciate that. Okay. Slowly reduce this down and bring ourselves up on here.
Satisfying
Hello.
on both sides.
Hello?
Hello.
True.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
No, that's what I just.
I see it taking 10 minutes before this party tries to attack the Grey Sisters.
Nuh-uh. Wrong.
What? Come
Fucking wrong.
on.
They're gonna be like, how dare you say that about me? We got things to do. And they're like,
Stab.
no, we're better than you are.
Punchy time. I like fighting things.
I don't know what kind of energy your character's bringing to this fucking arena. We're so
Self-preservation.
10 minutes, but we're chill.
Anti-Willoughby energy.
We're chill. I burned and killed a couple of people at a campfire in a pond one time.
You killed a grandma. You burnt a grandma to death.
That was
We're
an
fucking
accident.
hanging out with gods. They should have been more powerful. Seems like a them problem.
Never talk about Draven again.
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
idea of you looking at an old person going, hey, you should be more powerful. That's your fault.
Honestly, Willoughby, like any criticism Willoughby ever had about Draven evaporated in that fire along with that poor old woman.
But you see, here's the thing: is I've built a cool defense for myself by saying I'm going to unpack that shit in 20 years. So like, let's just
The immortal
go for
conundrum.
it right now, all right?
You could do that with any argument. You get stressed. It's like, hey, let's talk about this again in 10 years. You getting back into things. You climb up the final stairs and find yourself on a fully dry platform. The clouds don't even stand over it. The roof isn't the thing keeping it dry. It's the fact that the rain and the storm doesn't hit it. Up here, it seems like there's no beds, nowhere for these sisters to rest. There's nowhere for them to sit, eat, or have any leisure. It seems like they just stood on a platform. It's a rounded temple, columns around you. Some small platforms around, stairs built out of rock from beneath that go up onto kind of small little platforms against the pillars. But there's nothing on them. This small bit of elevation they might use for dramatic effect. But the three sisters stand there, alone together, arguing over who should have the eye and the tooth now to first deal with you. The first sister you see has long arms that drag down behind her across the ground. You can see they're overturned with great claws. Her arms probably about 7 feet long. Her body hunched, though, like a kind older lady with graying hair that comes down like curls. A kind of face. Her eyes sockets without anything in them. Her mouth gummy and open. She looks sweet if it wasn't for the long arms and claws at the end. Beside that is a much taller, thinner sister who looks almost like she's withering away. You can see her bones protruding through her skin. You can see her face is gaunt. She stands hanging over the two, almost swaying like grass in the wind. And the third sister, plumper, smaller than the others, nothing necessarily out of the ordinary. But her face, almost crooked with the bone protruding out. And you can see almost like the skin hangs on it, where the bones burst out of her jaw, out of her eyebrows. Her face more kind of shocking, like it's the only thing that's been fading away. Like her face had starved as her body thrived. She first takes the tooth, places it into her mouth, whilst the taller one puts the eye in one of her sockets and stares at you. So, this unlikely group arrives with a god. A hand reaches out, pulls the tooth out, and puts it into the tall one's mouth. They do! They do! And so much ritual surrounds them. So much to do. The longer arm comes out, takes both the eye and the tooth and puts it into. Oh, I think they don't want to be gored at. They'd like to be spoken to. Discussed with. Come closer then. Each of you has such a part to play.
And they said they arrived with a god, right?
Yeah.
Genos is clearly perturbed.
I'll come closer.
Will come closer. I'm going to cast Greater Restoration on myself. I wanted to say I was going to do that before we came into the room.
Okay.
Just to get rid of my exhaustion
Oh,
from climbing the stairs.
this one who casts the lightning. Don't you know, dear? Zeus already watches this place. His warnings all around us. The other one, Torin, pulls the tooth out and puts the eye in. I don't think they care. From so far
Yes,
away.
Unfortunately, I wasn't exactly informed with all of the situations regarding the gods of this realm. So you have my apologies if I made things any more complicated for all of you.
This one has manners. They pull the tooth out and give it to the other one to their left, but keep the eye. We do like manners. We do it so polite when mortals treat us with the consideration that they should. Do bring a gift.
Do we bring
Will be
it down?
kind of looks to the others.
I pause and look at my inventory.
Genos will walk forward. Dear Dino, Enyo, Penfredo, I offer each of you a flower. Something you can enjoy without having to fight over your senses. And he'll just pull out 3 flowers. Almost like tulips that he'll hand to each of them.
Genos. They come across. Alfredo takes the flowers and brings them back. The long arm kind of pulls her back as she walks the wrong way. And hand each of them a flower, and each breathe in at the same time, and the flower dies after the first breath. Ah, a moment of love. Such a rare thing. We accept this gift. And the eye turns to your group.
Question. How large is this eye and how large is this tooth?
The tooth is probably a good 1.5 inches. It's one long kind of rectangular tooth. Yellowing a little bit kind of jagged at the end. And the eye seems like it's a little bit larger than a normal eye. It gets pushed into the socket a lot. It looks almost like it's a little bit dirty on the outside from being handled
Nice.
across. But
Okay.
it looks like an ordinary eye for the most part.
Follow-up question. I don't know how to ask this. Does the tooth look like it is originally from one of them, or is it just like a rando tooth they picked up?
How would you know?
Yeah, that's kind
The
of one of the
DM
things
might
where...
know.
I mean, the DM knows.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you'd ever be able to work that out. Like, if you ever looked at
I
a
got
tooth...
a lot
and
of
gone,
teeth, actually. So here's
Yeah,
the thing.
That's Bill.
I do have some teeth.
Yeah, I got teeth, so I know teeth.
I got about
Right,
1, 2,
like-
3, 4, 5. I've got 6 teeth.
Oh, you mean on
various
you? Okay.
creatures.
For a second there,
Oh.
we thought you were talking about you have teeth in real life. Yeah, okay.
No, I got.
Sure, I know a thing or two
Lena's
about
got.
teeth.
Lena's got really nice, even teeth, but also she's in possession of about 6 different teeth of varying sizes and conditions.
They look to you. Are you offering them?
No, because I want to
Okay.
know if the tooth looks like it is like,
There is no way to
and I
tell.
can't really tell. All right.
If your character
So-
had the backstory of a dentist, I'd give it to you.
So one time in
Always next
Akala.
time.
Okay. I will say. Forgive me if this is a bit impertinent, but obviously this is our first time here, and I don't know much about you at all. You can only speak if you have the tooth. If you had more teeth, could you all talk at once?
No. It is not like that, dear. We speak because we are given a gift through the tooth. We see because we see through our
afraid.
eye.
Juno, did you set the psychic link up,
Yeah.
Lena? Juno will think to Lena, and think to the group actually, like, whatever gift, give them 3 of it.
Yeah, I was going
Make
to
sure-
offer them some teeth so they could all talk together at the same time, but it's
It's
not
still a
going to work.
gift. It's still a gift, but whatever we give them, don't just give them one thing. They'll fight over it. Give them 3 things.
Joe, I have a question. How old are these 3, like visually? How old are
Would
they?
they
look?
date Willoughby?
Ancient. They look.
Ancient?
Yeah.
Okay, because
Well, we have 3 sips of the jug.
A baby one.
That's a gift. That's a gift for a bunch of ancient creatures, isn't it?
Do they
can
like
try
a
it.
gamble?
You can try it.
Wait,
I don't know if
what
it,
if
I
they
don't
turn
know
into
if it
babies
will.
against
Jug
us?
blessed by
Do we
the
have
guardian
anything
god.
else?
No, I was going to offer. I've got some teeth. I've got some fish.
Okay,
tails and
teeth isn't
stuff,
very
but, like,
good. We got those teeth
It would
from.
have been. It would have been good if they could all talk to each other and then they didn't
Yes,
have
but
to return.
now it isn't,
But now I
and
know
we
they
really
can't, so
don't
I'm
have a
not trying
lot.
to offer
This
it.
is something pretty big.
Give it to him.
It is a blessing of youth from a guardian god.
We have a magical jug of water with the blessing of a god, a blessing of youth.
Of
One for each
you.
of you. 1 sip for each of you.
You see the long arm take out the tooth and put it into her mouth.
For each of us? Good.
She passes the tooth and the eye down to the one with the long arms. She lifts one arm all the way over towards you and turns her palm.
Will puts out the jug and just kind of dreads how bad this could get.
They take it.
If the- oh,
It's not
smells it
immediate, is the
first.
thing. To my knowledge, right?
Correct.
I have the actual
No, it's
sheet here.
They
for
slept
it.
in it was the next. Oh, they.
The jug might work differently. What does the jug do?
Humanoid can spend a use to using their action to drink from the jug. They must roll a D100 to determine how many years they revert by. As the magic makes them more
It's
youthful,
instant.
this cannot reduce
Yeah.
them to
'Cause it was
younger than a baby.
Diluted through the
Creatures with
river.
legendary actions can make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw to resist the effect and reduce it to a D10 if they so wish.
To be
They
honest, I
pass it
think these
around.
guys are a lot older than 100, but
And they
So
drink
it's like
it.
that's what I was thinking. Is like they seem so ancient that there's no way the maximum downside would be that bad.
the important thing is it's a gift to each of them. So
They each sip from it. You see absolutely no change.
Because they're so old.
And you see the one with the go.
Oh, to be young. I can't believe it felt so like this. We accept this gift of brief youth.
Wonderful.
I'm
Comes you.
above board really glad they accepted that because if they had aged wildly different, that might have gone badly.
Yeah, no, this is like the best possible outcome.
I was like, oh,
On a-
one
on
lost
a-
2 years.
yeah. On a scenario, by the way, Juno's probably just arms folded at the back of the group. Literally, apart from that telepathic communication, hasn't said a word, and it doesn't look like wants to either.
The tooth and the eye get passed around all the way to the smaller plump one with the pulled in face. She goes,
So, each of you to ask first. Now, you might not understand how we do things up here, but it's not a case of simply question and answer and trickery. We speak in riddles, we speak in stolen forces and truths that we have taken. We know things that many do not. The gods ever tell us that they are watching and ready to destroy us when we are no longer useful.
She looks around at the lightning that crackles outside.
But we cannot be heard in here. They do not know what goes on within our realm. In here, the answers are safe, as are the questions. You seek much. You gave us many years, and you gave us such a blessing. We are willing to discuss. It was better than the last gift.
The eye drifts over to the side, and all you see is the armor and the shield of the Kano soldier.
Makes sense now.
So do you want to ask your questions first? You were first in line, after all.
That's a good idea. So Janos walks ahead ever slightly. Dearest Theus, I would like you to tell me where I can find Medusa's head. How can she be resurrected? And does that abomination still have it? She was your sister.
Do not seek to scold us, Janos. We know what we did. And we did so not through gifts, but through threats. We agree in your assessment of Perseus, son of Zeus. He is an abomination that threatened our eye. What else are we to do?
See the long arm come out and pull the tooth.
We did what we had to do. Besides, we thought our sister could hold it. Kill some mortal. We didn't realize he was a powerful demigod. But he still has the head. Practically sleeps with it. That is why we called you up with them.
The one in the middle takes it.
Indeed. See, the thing is, we wish to rectify that problem and lend our aid to you. And doing so, we have a little gift of foresight for you. These companions, they will run into something that you will need. You will know it when you come across it. And when you do find it, it will help you find him. Him who is so guarded by Zeus. Him who is hidden for all of his transgressions against the monster kind. You will know it when you seek it. Help them to help you.
Thank you, Theus. And Juno would probably know directly. Theus is the Greek word for aunts. And then Janos will just step to the side.
We'll look to the others to see who seems the most eager to ask questions, because he knows he's not very good at being the one that talks.
Juno's head down, arms folded.
Okay.
I will say
Well,
in our heads.
We'll
I'll
feel-
say in our heads. What do you want to ask first?
Well, I
You
mean,
have a god with you?
Not
What was that?
anymore.
Not with us. She
Not
just
yet.
got us here.
We used one to
only.
get us here.
yes.
She dropped us off.
She is not fond of us. Not fond a bit.
What?
She is not.
The
No.
one who dropped you off.
She did not like you. You are right about that. She was demand.
Well, if no one else wants
Can Eldred-
to ask,
Quick OC question. Eldred can't read lips, right? You don't have the observant feat, do you? Okay, never mind.
Well, yeah, I think Wilby's just if no one else is gonna
Do it.
step
I
forward.
have
I think
I have
Juno
an
will
idea,
just like
but I
think to
can
Willoughby
go
like,
ahead. Yeah.
this is the one place
Also,
you can
they like
probably
you right
ask.
now 'cause you
Yeah.
were very polite and you gave them the baby water.
And like they said, the gods
True.
can't hear what you ask here.
well,
Yes.
we're going to get straight to the point then. First question.
First
What happened to
question.
the fates?
Oh, straight down to it. It is good
Also,
to
if you ask, I
this.
can write.
You know that there have been problems, don't you?
The one with
We
the
do.
eye stares forward.
They have met with a Norn. They learned. But they did not learn everything. Coincidence can sometimes be far more powerful than fate, for it is far more mysterious. Coincidence so often occurs. And it was coincidence that had everything unravel. You see, the fates have gone mad.
One of them to the left, Fredo, takes the tooth and speaks.
Yes, madness has overcome them. They could not deal with all of the threads being tugged at by coincidence and something they never saw coming. You see, some time ago, a new thread was entered, a knotted thread. Somewhere in a town, not far from Atlantis, soldiers were delivering a chest. In this town, there was a vault, and in this vault, an urn. Within the urn contained all of the chaos and evils of the world. This urn belonged to one who would be destined to open it and release it all. Someone showed up to steal that urn. But they did not expect to hear about something else.
The tooth is taken by the third one with the longer arms.
Hey, they did not. For in this chest being delivered on that very day, by coincidence, was one thing that cannot be found across Mesogaia, and certainly not in Midgard after the promise it did not make. Within that chest to be delivered down into the vaults of Atlantis, to be hidden away for all time, was a twig with plants on it. A mistletoe. And it happened to be that the person organizing the stealing of the urn discovered this by coincidence and decided instead to steal that as well. Something called to them that they might want that object. This one you might be familiar with. This one goes by mischief. This one goes by trouble.
Oh,
This one goes by. She raises a hand.
Nod.
You know this one.
This look, you know.
oh yes.
One and the same.
This.
And the taking of the mistletoe was so unforeseen. Bless you. Was so unforeseen.
I couldn't hit the mute in time.
So unexpected that the fates tried to fix it. But every time they tried, something else would knot it. It was too complex, too many scenarios, as this one thing could destroy all of the gods in their realm. Suddenly the Norns and the fates started to turn against one another, deciding what should be the proper fate going forward, what should be destiny. The Norns broke away, panicking, deciding to give away their powers, but the fates did not. Their arrogance got ahead of them. The tooth gets stolen. Hey, it did. Their arrogance got in front of them, and they decided to try and fix it all themselves. And as knots became too tight, too bound, their minds knotted as well. They broke into blissful madness, thus causing the rippling effect we have now, which puts me and my sisters in the most fortuitous position of being the greatest prophets there are. For only we can see the stolen truths of futures and pasts now. Only we can look to potential futures, not destiny or fate, but likelihoods. That is what we gamble on. We play with chance, with no fates to steal from anymore. We can pick it like an unguarded lake filled with fish. It was your Loki that gave us this. Coincidence.
Of course it was.
Of course.
Okay. Do you know where the mistletoe is now?
Likely with him.
I would imagine so.
For when he wishes to use it. It'll be a great
Do you
day.
think he will?
We do not pretend to know the minds of gods. Mortals are easy to read. Ones who do not even know themselves, such as mischief itself. Best not to read that one. But
Understood.
perhaps you'll find out yourself soon.
May I ask you another question?
You
Aside
may.
from this one. Above board, do we know did we actually know what the eye was?
The eye.
That
Oh.
Draven did?
Odin's?
Or
Did
the
we know
one
it was
taken from the
Odin's eye?
Dryad.
The power it does has.
I believe
no,
you did
Like
find out.
How we
I mean, like, do we know specifically it was Odin's eye?
I don't think we did.
no.
Okay.
We never
you did.
identified
You,
it.
you
Something we
tasted it though.
connected.
And you got-
Draven
you got a
tasted it
vision.
and knew that it was, yeah.
You got a vision of Odin from it.
Draven did.
Yeah.
I don't know if Draven told us.
Did he tell us though?
I think I
So,
died before
As
I
I was,
could.
yeah, I think you did too. So as I was looking at,
I don't think any of us know.
I think what Lena would ask, one of the things that the Norn had told us was that Odin's kind of stopped when he lost his eye. He like was just like, whatever, fuck everything. Like, so Lena would ask, do you know where Odin's eye is?
In his head, silly.
No, that
Well, that
I
one.
meant the
Remember
other,
that one.
the
Why are you
other
asking
one.
me? Surely you should know more about that.
You see the
Why?
taller one take the tooth.
For it is in one of your pockets, is it not? broken.
The power I suggest.
Okay.
The eye he gave away. The eye he drowned.
I think when this kind of realization hits, a pretty satisfied look comes over Juno, and like she looks down at her hand, and there's just that shimmer of gold from golden wisdom, and she just clenches the fist a little bit.
So all of the questions and answers asked in here are purely confidential, right?
Of course, we do not share the information that is given here. You can. We don't care. For no matter what happens out there, it has nothing to do with us.
Then I'm going to get right to the point. Then we'll look around to the others.
I'll nod.
Which member of Olympus poisoned Yggdrasil?
This is something that you would have to find out through prophecy.
You see the other one with the eye leans across and takes the tooth.
Sister, we would not write one.
He took the tooth back.
Sister, telling is not enough.
The head turns towards you, but the eye looks at the same time. They both look.
Write a prophecy for you. Have you find out through mortal means? Though we do not allow the gods to listen and hear to truths of the world, we would be lying if we did not delight in knowing secrets. We do not know who poisoned the tree entirely. We have our suspicions. What we do know is of someone who will know. But you must find them.
Okay.
One drop of each of your blood into the bowl.
And you see, look down, there's a bowl there now on the ground. It's a black clay bowl.
I don't bleed.
You don't bleed. But a chip of bark will do.
Well, all right.
The sacrifice of flesh or body. And we will read you a prophecy that will lead you to the answer you seek.
What happens to our blood after this?
It fades into prophecy, recognized only as that. Prophecy never normally means destiny. Many fall and spend their lives seeking them, only to realize that prophecies sometimes don't come true. But they will put you on a path. And upon that path, you might find the right answer. It is your best bet.
So what's everyone thinking? Willoughby's going to say telepathically.
Okay.
Yeah,
We need
let's do it.
This will help you find the answers you need.
Wise. Can I do an insight check on Juno? Because I don't think it's hard to tell that physically there is a body language that doesn't match up with what they're saying.
You don't need to make an insight. Yeah, I mean, like you can. Yeah, she's not hiding it. Like she hates, and she's said this. Like I think, like you can probably put two and together. She hates the concept of like destiny and fate and being foretold. But I think the last few words of the sister that like prophecy isn't the same thing, and this is just a path, and it's up to that's like she's accepted that. And she's doing this for Willoughby because she knows that this is important for Willoughby. So she's willing to do it for him. She's not doing this for herself. She's doing this because she knows that he needs this.
I'll say, okay, I'm going to take out a dagger. Yeah? because I don't want them to get alarmed as I.
You see him pass it to the first one again. She goes,
In return for this, as we are doing you a great favor, and we will aid you along the way. If you come across this Loki, we would like an audience.
You just wanted to.
Just
see
look at
him
Lena
smile.
like I'm just like looking at Lena
smile
like
there.
That is all we ask for. You'll get your answer. You'll get all your answers.
I mean, who knows the will of the gods, right? But we can pass along a message, certainly.
That'll do.
she steps forward, takes the eye off, puts it in the bowl facing up.
A drop of blood onto the lid of the eye,
Oh,
and a chip of your bark.
All right. Thank you for doing this, everyone.
Willoughby will say
Thumbs up.
telepathically.
Of course, Willoughby.
And that also goes to say, Janos, you don't have to do this if you don't. This is kind of like a separate thing, so please don't
the
feel
great sister
compelled
that
to
Jesus is
get
like, no,
involved.
no, you do. You didn't want to.
If you will get me what I need, I'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
Drop of blood.
A little snake comes out and just bites his hand to.
I love the tiny.
As the
I
blood
think Juno
hits
will
the
actually.
eye. No, you can go.
I was just gonna say Juno will literally like bite her own thumb and then squeeze it down rather than using the dagger. She'll just bite into her thumb.
One by one, the blood hits the eye and absorbs into the lid. And you can see the iris is kind of just growing slightly.
This is an interesting theme of the campaign so far. Once is strange, twice is more than a coincidence at this point.
I got a nickel.
I prick my finger with my claws.
Snaps off a little bit of bark from his shoulder.
In a very similar way to the blood, the bark would seep into the eye itself and the iris would grow. The long arm comes out, takes it. They start fighting over.
I want to read it. The tooth is stolen. I will read the prophecy. In parts together.
Places the eye in her eye. The lid comes down for the first time, and then when it lifts up, it's red. The corners of the eye like it's bloodshot.
Three prophecies best work with three. Answers lie at the end of three. Endings and beginnings. Answers lie with a drowning soul. Left underwater, but where? This one who drowns knows much. This one knows many. The one who drowns must be found after you find the three. The three are key. The one who drowns knows the answer to the question, who did it? Who? Which of them?
The eye's taken and brought over to one of the other sisters.
First, you'll need a guide. The one you seek is the one who hides. The one you seek is the one who lies. No, the one you seek is the one who... The guide tricks. The guide is here. He lies in the city named after the quick one's feet. Mischievous, but warming. We like this one. We like the mischief.
The eye is taken. Given to the taller sister. She places it in.
The second you'll need is more straightforward. This one does not hide, but drinks. The river steals their memories, but the mouth spits them out. The mouth is not what to worry about, but many. As something drinks from the water, and it will not let you speak to the river. But the drowned one's memories flow freely at the mouth of this river.
The eye is taken out and given to the original sister again.
The third and last. The third is not needed to get to the drowned one, but instead to deal with the answer when it is given. For when you find out the truth, a god must be dealt with or forgiven. Forgiven? I doubt it, I doubt it. To summon a god is no easy feat, but the sea god built a way. A shell from his cold throne, given as a gift to one who earned it. One who won't part with it easily. One who looks to spend it when the time is right for them. One you will need to convince or kill. With shell in hand, you can bring any god you name to you. With shell in hand, you can demand answers from your answer. The one who has the shell was made a challenge. They had to cause tears to flow from a god underwater. With music he did it. With music tears flowed. And with a shell he was given any god he can call.
The eye passes for the final time to the taller one.
With 3 doors we have. 3 leaps of faith in our tower. 3 ways to get to them. Choose which one you seek. When you have what you need, bury one of these 3 teeth. They hand out. Only 3 teeth we will give. Use them when you wish to return.
And then the eye lid closes and comes back normal.
Your prophecy has been written. Whether it comes to pass is up to you. You journey onto the last leg of your answer. With 3 things. You will find your truth and confront it.
The 3 sisters kind of drift back to give you a moment.
All right. Most of every detail for anything specific went right over Willoughby's head because he knows nothing about this place. So he's slowly looking towards Juno to see if there's any like, oh yeah, I know what they just said and what that means.
Well, I mean, I have the sea god is Poseidon. A shell from Poseidon's throne can call a god. It sounds like somebody completed a challenge to make a god cry underwater. They used music. I mean, there's many famous musicians who have completed these sort of challenges for the gods in the past, but exactly which one would be difficult to find. But it could be Orpheus. It could be there's many, but
All right.
The city, the one who is our guide, Loki, it sounds like, is here in the city named after the god with quick feet. I mean, that to me is Hermes, is famous for their speed. That would be.
I don't think
Joe,
it's just the quick feet. It is his boots. They have a name.
Do I? Well,
Yeah,
I
Joe,
mean,
Joe, would either of us know what that name actually is? Gabe knows what that is.
Yeah, I think
Surprisingly.
I
don't know
so.
the name of the boots, so.
Talaria.
Okay.
Genos would look at the sisters. Who currently has Hermes' boots?
Hermes does.
but a city was named after it, maybe, or like
Yeah, I think
named
so.
after the boots.
City
yeah.
of Talaria. Yeah.
Talaria. Okay. And I think I think like Juno being from the academia in general, like it sounds like this stuff that they would know, right? Like these are actual places.
Fuck, what was it? Talaria of, I don't know if the Mercury part is important or not. Talaria of Mercury.
What you'd know though, if you know that, is
Yeah.
if you look to the east on the map, there is a city.
There you go. Oh god, I didn't
yep.
even realize that the map had changed.
Oh my god,
Yep.
new map!
You're looking at Mr. Go.
Talar. Yeah, so
Talar,
Talaria,
yep.
Talar. Yeah, so like I think Juno would look at Genos and be like, Talar, perhaps? Named after the boots. And would I know that is Talar like a patron city of Hermes, like Athra is the patron city of Athena and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be like
Roll a
sounds
history
like-
check.
Sure.
Nice.
Do I get advantage?
I would say so because you're Athenian, so you're
That's a
I would-
21.
My vote counts.
21. Talar is the city of thieves. It's a very kind of cutthroat and full of gangs, full of just. It's where
So-
people go to be exiles.
Yeah, so I will look at like Lena and Eldred and be like, Loki is in the city of thieves, Talar. It is
What
a
a
place of
surprise! I can't believe
makes
it.
perfect sense. The one who drinks the river that stills memory means the river Styx. The river Styx famously robs the memories of those who fall in it and someone who drinks, but a creature that drinks from it, that spits it out.
Is it to have like
I mean, I don't remember all of the myths and legends around the river Styx, but I'm happy to make a check. Dungeon Master.
You can make a check.
Christmas mystery?
But make a check to see if it relates to Dionysus at all.
You can.
Some
You
water,
can.
John.
Someone who,
roll a
one who
religion check.
drinks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
History?
then yeah, give me a history check again. I'll give you advantage because it's
14.
14. You'd know this at least. The Styx has many rivers that come off of it. The river Leth is the one that's renowned
yeah.
for
Yeah.
taking
Leth
the
and
memories.
Leith. Yeah. So yeah.
Another 12.
Is it Leth or Leith? I don't know.
I have
actually.
no idea. I've never actually heard it spoken, so I'm.
Leith, I think, is different because
Yeah.
there's like Leith in a lot of like Scottish history. I think it's Leth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Leth.
think it's left as well.
So the river Leth is a branch of the river Styx that takes memories. The waters of Leth can make someone forget. That's a place to start, and the river is somewhere we can travel to. But it sounds like as well that there are the Grey Sisters are offering these leaps of faith that will take us to these places. But
If you
The other
name
thing
the
is-
places that you'd wish to go.
oh, I see. Okay.
Got it.
The other option is, I mean, they say that Loki is to be our guide. Maybe they're the first one we have to go and find, but I don't know.
Well, they did say They did say the first one, the second one, and then the third one doesn't need to be found.
don't
to
need
take
it
us
to- No,
Right.
but we needed to
To
call
deal
the
with.
Makes
god
the
if
most sense to go in order of first
1,
to
2,
third.
3.
Right.
the first
So
is the
we take a
guide.
leap of faith to, what did you call it? Talar?
Talar, City of Thieves.
Geez, I'm glad you know your stuff, Juno, and you too, Genos. Welcome to the.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks
on
for coming
board.
along.
Did you say Junos? Genos.
Genos.
Beginning.
Genos.
Genos.
All right, you are going to help us, and we will help you find, who was it again?
Perseus.
Perseus. I don't know who he is, but he sounds
Perseus.
like a shit, so.
He is overconfident, overboldened, and came to sisters to kill a sister.
Sounds like a dick. We will help you.
Where are we on the map? Like, we're on a demi-plane, right?
You're
Like,
not even on the map.
Right now, you're not sure.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Hey, Genos, where are we?
Like right now?
Yeah.
Like, are we far
Like, do you have a
from
map?
these places?
You
It's
carry
like-
it up around?
This area is not necessarily Mesogaia. It's like a being grass outside of a house. You're on the land, but you're not in the house.
We're in a
Extra.
demi-plane next to the plane of Mesogaia, is what
Correct.
they're saying.
We're
Right.
adjacent.
Where do you have a map of where you entered this demi-plane from Mesogaia? Is that the exit we're going to be using if we were to leave?
Well, they did offer you a way
Yeah,
to
we
where
got
you want to
faith.
be. You just have to
We just
ask.
Go straight to there. We take
To be honest, that is going to
And
be
then we
your safest,
plant-
better way.
and
If
then
you
we
try to
have the
leave of
three
your own
teeth.
accord, it's a bad idea.
And we have
Do
three
you have
teeth to bring us
magic
back.
to cross planes? Some people do.
I've been working on it. Anyways, I think we will use the
We
the
have to-
fast trip.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And then remember, we have 3 teeth that will bring us back here.
Even though you want to do an order, Talar is the only location that you know. And
Talar
if-
makes sense.
if you think of the way that these sisters work, order is logical. Logic is not necessarily your friend here.
For the others, I mean, if we were desperate, we could go to the academia in Athra. There are many very smart people, lots of records. If somebody was going to help us locate these
How-
other places
Far away is the academia from Talar?
from it's across the sea, but we could probably get a boat. We could hire a ship to sail us to Athra.
Because I mean, between you and me, I'm not exactly as informed with Mesogaia as I'd like, and I mean, spending an evening in your archives could probably be quite helpful for me, at least, in getting caught up to speed before we do anything drastic.
Well, if we go to Athra first, I could ask my mother and father to sail us, if need be. They have a ship, they have a crew. I don't, or they could at least point us in the direction of someone who could sail us to Talar. It's a long journey. Talar to Athra is Joe, I imagine looking at the map, it would be like days at sea, right? It's like it's across the sea basically. It's across the ocean, but across the sort of inland sea, the Aegean. So it would be days on a boat, but we could do that. My parents have many contacts, ship captains and crews that could sail us.
I think as far as above board for Willoughby, there is a level of wanting to know everything there is to know before stepping into a situation that could put us all in. You know, he doesn't know a lot about the area. This is a good chance to get to know a lot about the area. And also, it seems like Juno really wants to go there at the same time in a way.
I don't think it would take a big insight check to kind of like when she talks about Athra, there's that wistful like that's her home, like it's her home, and she's not been there in a long time. So,
Considering we don't know the other two destinations, and there's so much that Willoughby doesn't know in general, I think he would be leaning more towards going to Athra at that point. If there's a logical means to get to Talar from there, we don't have like a gotta finish this in 2 days job this time. This is back more towards a softer like gotta get it done, but we don't have a time limit directly in front of us.
I appreciate Joe. I made some assumptions there, but it looks like Talar's a port city. I know Athra's a port city, and like I know that
you'll find the
Juno's family
majority
have like
majority of the
Are port
Mesogaians are
cities.
port cities.
yeah, because that's how they traded. That's how they would like exchange, and do a lot of trade and stuff.
And the ones which aren't usually have a town as a port city that has a pretty
Nearby,
trade, like a trade route straight to the closest city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Juno will just look at the others and say, I mean, yes, we could go straight to Talar, but as far as I'm aware, if we wanted more information, if we wanted to learn more about these things, there are many places we could go, but the Academia in Athra is one of the greatest collections of scholars and researchers and books and records.
What is it that you want to learn more of? About these unknowns?
Oh, look at Willoughby.
Well, to be fair, I've never been here.
Willoughby
That is-
gestures to the whole place.
In
That is
general,
better.
and well, I casted one spell today, and then a big fish came out of the water and essentially threatened my life from the shore. So I would like to frankly, discover and look into a couple of details about this place. And also, frankly, between you and me, I am a professional cartographer, and I'd like to know where the hell I am, and maybe look into how these people map their shit while I'm at Athra.
You
But
plan
that's
to
more of a
go
selfish thing.
from a educated and archiving place to a city of thieves and potentially liars afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just information, right?
Also figuring out exactly this second person in this prophecy. This something to do with the river Lith, the one who drinks and spits something out in the mouth, and then whoever the musician who carries the shell. Like I said, I know of Orpheus. There have been a few others, but I don't know off the top of my head who may. There would probably be records of these legends, especially challenges issued by gods. Those sorts of things tend to become stories, legends that are passed on. I would be surprised if there is not some record of who that could be.
Yeah.
Plus, honestly, we've been moving really fast the last week or so, and I think we could all use a nice boat ride somewhere to relax for just a minute and kind of recalibrate, kind of relax, figure out our shit. Unless anyone would object to that.
Athra is a beautiful city.
No.
Elena?
I would be.
I know you want to. Would you like to go after you know who?
I don't want to try to contact Loki from here. I look over at the Grey Sisters. No offense intended. I don't know if he can hear us from here. So I would like to not be here to start everything. I don't like to wait around. It would be my preference, I think, to go straight to Talar, because we have a list of things to do, and I like to get moving on things, but also I am content to go to Athra. I have never been there. It seems like it would be quite nice. I will try to contact him anyway and see what I can start, no matter what.
I feel I cannot be impartial in this, so I won't say which I would prefer, because I know
think
where
as
my heart
well-
lies, but I don't want to cast a vote.
I think that potentially my judgment could be clouded by the fact that he is apparently first on the list, so I am content with whatever.
I think as long as we have a viable, dependable way to Talar from Athra, and
I can't say with 100% certainty, but I am confident that my family will be able to find us someone to charter a passage. I'm very confident in that.
If that is the case, and we do need to go from Athra to Talar, I do not think your family should be involved at all.
Me
Do
too.
not do anything that may involve Poseidon. Historically, Poseidon does not do well with people like me.
Yeah, is he going to be pissed if we're like taking a boat?
Poseidon is the reason Medusa is dead.
Oh shit, okay.
Shit, are boats like a whole problem out here because of Poseidon? Is that a thing?
People pay tribute to Poseidon often.
Yes.
Good to know.
oh dear.
It will be something that I will likely have to do if we are going to travel by boat. I will try and provide a tithe or something. Try and earn safe passage as best as I can, but I don't like to do it. You are, and sort of like looking around at her companions, maybe not at like Janos because she doesn't know Janos yet, but like you all know how I feel about the gods and many things. But if it will help us secure us, I knowing my parents, they will want to take us. I would prefer them not to. I don't want them involved, but it is dangerous. Like do not be eluded by that traveling across the ocean is dangerous here because of Poseidon, because of many other creatures. There are many beasts and creatures that lurk within the sea. So it would be safer, perhaps, for us to go straight to Talar.
I would be fine with Athra on two conditions. One, if anyone tries to touch my hair or my snakes, I will break their hands.
That is fair.
Very fair.
Two,
Sure.
People shouldn't touch people without asking anyway.
do you all plan to tell anyone what you've learned today outside of this safety in Athra?
Not really.
No.
Because if you
only
make that
perhaps
choice,
if a friend, Draven, a friend recently passed. Are you laughing?
what was his name?
Draven? Do you know this name?
Can I insight check that laugh?
Sure.
22.
It might be. It seemed familiar. There was something that Draven said about the way he fought early on in your adventures. Because Draven said he'd learned about blind fighting because of someone that he came across a while back.
Right.
How'd you fight a Gorgon?
Sounds interesting. It's just a good name.
Well, he's dead. And he has moved on to the afterlife. But if by some strange way he found his way back to us, he's the only person I can imagine us telling.
And I guess, to be fair, the people on this list, we will tell them what we need to in order to get them to give us the information we need, come with us, do whatever we need
Yes.
them to do, right?
It's not very helpful to fill a bunch of people in on the details of a bunch of news that we haven't actually reached the conclusion of. We're trying to get to the end of this, figure out the actual facts before we tell anyone a bunch of bullshit that may not actually be helpful to them.
Yeah, apparently the fates are just fucked up.
That's a
yeah, they must
that's a
get
point.
crazy.
Joe, when the Grey Sisters were talking about mistletoe,
Yes.
they talked as if they like. Is that something we know what mistletoe is and like what it represents and like the kind of attack? Like, it sounded like there was more to it than just being normal mistletoe, but I don't know like if mistletoe is a commonly known
I'll tell you
like
this.
thing.
Mistletoe is not a common plant. Give me a history check.
Sure.
Well, we
Natural
know
20,
some of the
baby.
stories of-
Natural 20,
So,
baby.
in Mesogaia, mistletoe was pretty common
Okay.
until around 2 decades ago when it started dying out en masse.
Oh.
To a point where
2
it's
decades ago, huh?
pretty dead. Just before the wars kicked off.
Was there any? I don't remember if there was a mention of like this event, like when this like theft happened, like how many years ago it was from now.
It was 4, I believe.
Okay.
So this theft with the urn was 4 years ago.
Because that's when everything started to go all weird with the Norns and the Fates because because that's what fucked everything up. And then they were like, fuck, now we can't fix it.
Do you know what actually look towards the Grey Sisters?
Eyes staying
It's the
straight
first time
towards
that she's like properly like looked at them and like engaged with them. The rest of the time she was trying to avoid them as much as possible. You have knowledge.
We do.
What is the importance of mistletoe?
Frigga cared so much for her sweet son. So much that she put a little curse on the boy that made it so that his relationships were never really true. She wanted nothing ever to harm him. And everything swore An oath. Without knowing it, swore an oath. Everything. The power exuded. The moment that the portals between our worlds connected, we all did. We didn't know it. Like a passing, brief bit of wind, the magic was so strong from a love of the mother to a son. But only one thing across all worlds would ever negate this promise. Only one thing never swore an oath. Mistletoe. For it was deemed too innocent when the spell was cast. What could mistletoe, something of pure love, ever do to my boy, she said. Oh, she would come to regret that.
Oh, really?
And if all the mistletoe died, there would be nothing left that could harm the boy.
Nothing. But fate would not allow that. Ironic, isn't it? A coincidence in the end. Had the one who would cause it all gather the mistletoe. One thing they're trying to hide it from. It's the only one that came across it.
Coincidence. A lot of luck and being in the right place at the right time. Right, well, if we are resolved, then we take the teeth, we take the leap of faith, we get to Athra, and then we continue on.
If everyone is agreed, if everyone is comfortable with that decision.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I have one more question, if I may.
You may.
Can you see what Frey is doing right now?
She walks towards the edge. The one with the long arm reaches her hand out. When she pulls it back, you can see the rain is gathered on the top, but it's not dripping off. And it swirls into a pool on the outside of her hand, on the top of it. She lures it towards your face. And you see a slight reflection. And you can see Frey in his woodlands. And he rushes and pushes down a tree that... You see him roaring. You can't hear the sound, but you can see the water ripples. And then it drips off like rain.
Curious. We didn't see until now. But often when people make connections, we see. You angered a god.
I anger a lot of people.
To leap of faith.
She looks to one of the... between two of the pillars.
That is the only gap there which will lead you down into waters. With no rocks beneath. Fall. And think of your destination. If you don't think well enough, that fall will kill you.
Hey, Juno, do you want to kind of describe the place a little bit to me, just so I can
You know what?
explode when
you-
I hit the ground?
Can you put a picture of it in your mind? If we're all connected, we can see it, yeah?
Yeah, and then Juno will specifically, because it would be the strongest memory she has, she will think of home. Like her family's house. It's a pretty, not quite like upper, it's like middle class, kind of like comfortable home built near the docks. There is the colors of Athra, the kind of purple. Some of the tiles of the roof are colored in purple. Some are colored in like a yellowy gold. and there is symbols of this kind of interlinking looping knot that kind of runs around, the same that she has on like her toga and the stuff that she has on her outfit. And you can see that there are like baskets of different kinds of cargo. There's like baskets and crates and barrels of things that a ship or a sailor might carry. And there would also be like almost like a plaque that's like in the wall, and attached to it is a war medal. Like it's actually kind of like an old, like a medallion, not like a kind of modern day medal, but like a large bronze disc which is stamped with a spear and a shield, and it looks like it was maybe given to a celebrated soldier. And that's kind of like embedded into the wall and like, you know, fixed in place. And yeah, she just thinks of home. She just thinks of like the image of her family's house from outside, as strong as she can. And she'll describe it as well, physically describe it and talk about it. Yeah.
And with that in your head,
She points. Jump. Or fall.
but hit the water, not with fear, but with thought of that image.
Juno will step up the first and turn so that she would be facing back into the Grey Sisters in the temple and just look at them quite hard. Doesn't say anything and then just falls back and just thinks of home.
Is everyone else following, or?
Yep.
I will jump and think of Juno's
Yeah.
home.
Once everyone else jumps out, Wilby's gonna look over to the Grey Sisters. You know, there's actually still probably one more drink in that jug, but you'll have to figure out between yourselves which one of you wants to
Juno
use
kind of
that.
like, okay.
But I should get it because I didn't get affected by it as much as you two. You didn't get affected by it because you were older. How dare you?
And it's like they start just kind of bickering between
He
themselves, and
jumps
Claws go. You hear the bickering in the distance as you fall. Willoughby falling last. I assume if everyone is anyone going after Willoughby, or is everyone going before?
No,
I think I'd actually probably
Yeah.
wait to make sure that they all didn't do anything to the sisters.
Yeah.
All things considered.
That makes sense. Yeah, you can wait behind and see as Willoughby falls, and you can see the sisters all arguing together. A common occurrence. Arguing who should get the eye, and the eye falls down. They start chasing after it and grabbing it and pulling at each other.
He would probably hiss and yell and say, "Get it together. Steno will not be happy."
Or the heads
And
turning
then he'll
direction.
jump.
Just as you hit the ground into the water, there's no pain. The moment you go under, your body pulls you up, and your head bursts out the surface, and around you, all of the new party you just met, bursting out of the water of a clean, open river, and a dock, and the home of Juno, as you all are in the river right next to it. And that is where we'll end tonight's episode of Mistletoe.
Woo!
Okay. Well, this is your
Damn.
beginning of your road to the end. The beginning of the end, I should say. As you are, you've gathered your knowledge. You're on your way to the answer,
And we got Gabe back
and you got Gabe back.
as a cool Gorgon ninja.
Very cool
Yes.
backstory.
That's I mean,
100%.
that's just the art. I don't know what you
Yeah.
are yet, but that art is like, I want to see you running like this.
It was very interesting.
If
when
you
Joe
don't run like
mentioned-
this-
Snakes flying by.
It was interesting when Joe mentioned you were going to the Grey Sisters because, like,
Yeah.
the Grey Sisters are sisters of the Gorgons.
Yeah,
Perfect
and
time.
the aunt as well.
Yeah.
Very cool. Hey,
I
coincidence,
thought about
man.
asking them which one was going to die first of all of you, but I didn't want to know that.
I would have liked that. That would have been awesome. I would have loved that. Also,
Back up. Wait, I have one more question.
genuinely wasn't expecting that you guys would want. Like, I didn't even think about going to Athra until like it was like, oh, should we go somewhere with more knowledge? I was like, well, it's
If
the
you
only
guys are
place I
going to
know.
make me cross the sea, I hate
I don't wanna
it.
cross the sea. Pirate
So
sea,
if
that'll
you
make
don't
me
if you
sad.
haven't looked in the story of Medusa, look into Medusa because Medusa,
Got
Poseidon's the
fucked over
reason.
by Poseidon, yeah.
Yeah.
Besides
time.
the reason that she died. So you're like,
Yep.
we're gonna go here and then cross the
He got
ocean.
fucking wrecked hardcore. He's
Mhm.
a dick,
Like-
dude.
It's possible.
And even
Maybe-
Athena was like completely like strung her out to dry as well. Like it was like, you know, it's not
yeah,
nice. The
yeah.
story of Medusa is tragic.
Gabe has picked essentially a people that is very much opposed to the gods, but not by their own addition. It's the gods are just dicks to them.
100% gonna hide the snakes at the archive because I don't trust these people. And if they don't see Gorgons, I'm probably not technically safe.
It's fair.
And I kill them. I don't want to kill
Fair.
them.
I'm
Just don't kill my parents.
Is maybe
I'll
we'll
tell you-
get
I'll tell you that.
information though. Maybe while we're there, we'll get information, and it'll be like, "Oh, you have to go to Lathion for number 2," and we'll be like, "Oh, perfect. We'll just walk there, take the tooth back, and then take another door to
Yep.
Tyler." You know?
True.
It's true.
It's true.
True
You
that.
never know.
It'd be exciting to develop after because I didn't know if you'd get there.
Looks at Joe.
Well, Joe, before we wrap up the episode, just to throw a spanner in, like, keep in mind, I'm not here next week. So
not.
we can figure that out. No,
You're
I'm
not.
at LARP next week.
That's true.
So
Keep doing this. Why you keep doing this? You wanted to join the fight, and then you were going next week.
Listen, man, I can't tell. I don't want to tell you.
There's
It's
gonna
true.
be something as
We
you
could
come
figure
out of the
something out.
water
We'll
that's
work
gonna
out,
eat
work out.
Juno. It's,
Yeah.
she's gonna be in her
Or
stomach
just
again.
honestly, Juno can just point you towards the academia and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna hang out with my parents for a day. Like, I haven't seen them. Like, I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Is it cool if I spend time with my family? You
Uh-huh.
guys go
I wanna
up to
see
that
if they can
building
take
and."
anything to my bedroom.
There's also
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
There's some good ideas.
I think
we
that
could do for
there's some things that we can work around, but yeah, unfortunately, it is pre-booked and has been for a while.
That's okay. No,
It is
no.
the summer of busyness.
it. No worries.
Um,
We'll work out. But welcome back, Gabe. It's good to be here, and I'm excited for the next section because it's there's some cool stuff coming up, and you guys are getting close to the end. Getting close to the big answer.
Well, that's a good question, Mark. Where's your horse?
He's back in Midgard somewhere. Who knows?
It's true.
He's
I-
long gone.
I
knew
remember
what would
the
happen
last
when
time.
Zapelli is fucking poofed. Goodbye
Yep.
from the
One
start.
of the
At some point-
stables,
At some
right?
point, something had
But
to happen. You know?
I still got that potion ready to go. We find another animal. I'm gonna let that animal speak, and I'm gonna give it permanent speech forever.
true.
We got that ready to
And
go.
one day you're gonna run into Zabelli with that other animal that gave permanent speech. She was gonna be so awkward. He's gonna just. be
Zabelli
standing
is
there,
actually
like,
just a
so
druid that
sad
turns
and
into a person. It's
jilted.
like,
I
what the
would've-
fuck, dude?
I believe that I believe that
that's soft.
the last place I left Zapelli was actually Burka. I think was like literally
I
I
think
left them
so.
in
That's the last
Burka.
place we talked about. Like, oh,
Yeah.
They're
Zabelli is
taking
with
good
us.
care. But Zabelli's living his best
fine.
life.
Burka's a
fine.
nice place,
It's lovely.
man.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's so hard to remember your mount in D&D. It's
Well,
so
Do you know
hard.
where it started going wrong was when we started teleporting around places,
Yeah,
and then
the
I was
second
just
you
like,
teleport. There's always that thing of like, oh, it says you can only bring like fucking 7 people. Oh, well, like the mount. We gotta bring like all the actual players and like.
Listen,
you know, the
Zapelli was great
important
while they
NPCs.
lasted. We're too high level now. Poor Zapelli can't help us in combat as much as they used to. They used to be like, one of our main
That's
heavy
true.
hitters.
That's true.
But not anymore.
Well, thanks all for playing. We'll wrap up there so we can send you all off to wherever you want to go to next. But we'll work out something for next week. I've got an idea in my head actually, so we can base it.
Yeah,
on
I
that.
could chat to you about it and stuff. We can figure something out.
Sounds good. All right. Well then, going round in a circle. Let's start with Gabe. Welcome back. Where can people find you?
Hey.
You can find me across the internet at Gabe James Games. Next week, I have a book coming out.
Dan.
Hey.
Kid's Guide to Tabletop Role Playing Games.
Oh,
It's like
that's
10 to
Sweet.
18, basically. I worked on it for like 4 months. Then I forgot about it as a fever dream. And then someone's like, hey, Gabe, your book comes out next week. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's pretty much me.
Cool. Brizzy.
Yay. Hi, Brizzy Voices. Instagram and Twitter, Twitch. So much Cheers of the Kingdom. Just so much.
So much it is.
Yep.
Tomato. Chrissy.
Sometimes I tweet stuff. Sometimes I
Oh, I
stream
thought you
stuff.
did tomato.
Why not go play some Diablo and set some shit on fire? I gotta go.
In real life?
Yeah.
It's fair.
I'm gonna go burn some stuff with my little snake heads.
That's true. Yeah, you do Hydra. Mark.
Love a Hydra.
Sherlock Holmes. Those most
Sure.
places on the internet. We are like 5 episodes away from the end of High Rollers, and we've got to do a lot of like cramming recordings in because we're being kicked out of our studio. So we've got a new studio that we now have to build and set up, and that's fun.
Easy.
Easy. So come and check that out. Just search for High Rollers D&D or Sherlock Holmes.
You'll
I'm
find it
not really
everywhere.
doing a lot of my own stuff. I'm pretty much like the summer is a crazy period of time where lots of things happen. So, but I'm around on the internet. High Rollers. That's the main thing.
Wicked.
I'm tired.
No, I feel that. I played too much Diablo last night. Twitch.tv says Joe Fudge, you know where to find me. There's no current shows going on at the moment, so I'm just playing a lot of Diablo and GTA and stuff. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. There's a Patreon if you want to see behind the scenes and lore and whatnot. And I'll probably put out a post that lets you guys guess before we ever get there. Who do you think poisoned the World Tree? And I'll give a bunch of names, and you can do a little poll.
Nice.
I want to see that. But other than that, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back next week. We'll see you then, and take care. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.